Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss.
What up, everybody? It's the Bains and Beers podcast here today with my co-host and his baby blue tracksuit. Looking good today.
Thank you.
Ajay Bains, and here with a very special guest today, also looking nice today, Jayna Marie Makeup. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm not wearing sweatpants today, so I got dressed up for you guys.
No, the typical podcast setup for you.
Exactly. Yeah. Usually I'm recording my podcast in my pajamas.
Yeah.
So this is pretty fancy.
Nice.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself for our audience and kind of like a background on what you do and, you know, who you are in the community.
Yeah. I'm a bridal makeup and hair artist. I've been doing that for about 18 years, and probably for the last 10 to 12, I would say. I've been working predominantly in the South Asian market. So, yeah, I'm like a little Gauri scene. So
yeah, it's actually one of our first Gauri. It's the first Gauri guest of this season.
I feel very honored. I did some scrolling through your Instagram, and I was like, dang, man, I gotta like represent.
Yeah.
It's funny because our first guest was when back in the day we started, actually Shannon brought us on Pink Orchid. So we've always been in that sort of realm.
We've done a couple makeup interviews, which is weird for us. For a lot of people, kind of like, how does that work?
Not gonna lie, when you reached out to me, I was like, what do you want to talk to me about? Like, honestly, are you okay? Let's be real.
Yeah.
Is this podcast just so you can meet girls? Like, let's be honest.
No, I mean,
how did you meet your girl though?
It was through the podcast, right?
Oh.
I mean, we've never really took full advantage of that situation.
We've always been very,
good.
Very focused, very professional.
Yeah, very professional.
You gotta be careful because I feel like there's a thin line you don't want to cross.
Yeah, you don't want to catch a case.
You might be on like screen recorded the wrong thing. You know,
true.
Cancel culture.
I'm not trying to be on Instagram.
Although for the listeners, can we just mention that it's supposed to be beans and beers, but
they're on the way.
But we have wine here.
Yeah, and we need to take a sip.
We do. And because I have to admit, like, beans and wine just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah, I know.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
I'm not really a wine guy, but
let's try it. Well, I'm not really a beer girl, but I was down for the cause.
I believe they are on the way.
Oh man, that's so bitter.
Ooh. That's exactly how I feel about beer.
Really?
So then what do you like about this?
I don't really like wine.
Oh.
You just assumed I liked wine.
What do you like then?
I would be like a jalapeno margarita, ideally.
You're like
or
a
maybe
bougie
like
drinker. I don't even know what the fuck a jalapeno. What's a jalapeno margarita?
or like chocolate martini.
I've never heard of that. How is it working with the South Asian community?
I absolutely love it. So my family, I come from a tiny family, and I always say like being white is like the absence of culture. Like I would never like to refer to like my culture because I always feel like what culture, if that kind of makes sense. So I love being a part of a community that family really matters and everybody gets together and they make a big deal of events. Like in my family, I've been married twice. And in my family, both times it was like, you don't have to make a big deal out of this, Jayna. Like, it's no big deal. Like, just do a small little, everything's just, like, everything's so humble and so little and so small. And I just love in the South Asian community, it's like, fuck that. Like, we're spending all the money. We're flying everybody in. We're doing everything big. And I love that because life's too short to skip out on the celebrations. So I love that.
So you said it's been 18 years since you got into. What made you get into, like, makeup and, like, with the South Asian community?
So when I first started, people used to tell me like, oh my gosh, you absolutely need to get into the South Asian community. Everybody just kind of would say that. And I really never understood what the point was because I was already busy. So it's like, I'm already working. I'm already paying my bills doing this. Why do I care what color of skin the people have that I work with? To me, it's just people are people and I'm just happy to be working. So what's the big thing? Because I said, once you get in that community, you'll be working so much. And I was like, I'm already working so much. I just don't get the thing. But I would say the main difference is how many, obviously, pre-wedding events there are, how many other things there are besides just like white girls have just like one day, one shot, one outfit. That's it, right? So it's a really big difference in terms of how much work there is for sure.
How was your... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You think brown girls are more entitled than white girls?
I don't think they're more entitled.
Putting you on the spot
I would
here.
say, don't. You guys are trying to get me into mad shit.
Let's
like,
get into it.
If anything, I
What's
would.
wrong with you, man?
If I had to, I would
Fucking
say
respectful.
they're more blessed.
Yeah.
I would say they're more blessed in it, like with how much their family's willing to do for them. Like,
yeah.
for example, when I got married, my mom was like, we don't even care if you get married, so you're paying for it yourself, you know? So when I see lots of, South Asian brides who are like, oh, my parents, I had this one girl, she was so cool because her wedding was next level, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And she told me, she's like, I don't deserve any of this. I have $8 in my bank account. She's like, my parents just decided they wanted this. And I was like, you know what? I love the honesty because she's not acting like entitled, like she deserves it. She's like, my family did this for me. If I was throwing my own wedding, it would be in like the McDonald's ball pit, you know? And so just respecting that, like, this isn't anything I could afford myself, but my family's doing this for me. So I appreciate that when, people are real about it.
How was your wedding?
Which one? The first one was the first
I know,
one.
I heard that.
Yeah, so the first one was
I was just going to talk about the experience compared to like how
Right.
many brown weddings you saw first. Then we can get into the
Right.
actual like what
so
happened.
my first one, I was 19. And my parents,
What?
yeah. And my parents were obviously for exactly the same
Yeah.
reasons that your guys' reaction is. They didn't like the guy. They didn't want me doing it. And I just knew everything. So I did it anyways. And because they weren't supportive, they gave no money. So the whole wedding in total, including dress, cost $2,000. But it was like we had little like brownies and Nanaimo bars in the church immediately after. I had a $400 dress. I made my own decorations out of fake flowers and like balloons and Christmas lights. It was the most humble so humble, like literally the definition of humble. And then the second time I got married, I had a good career and I was doing really well for myself. I didn't want a wedding because I'd already done it, but my ex had never been married before. And he was like, well, I want to show the world, that I've got you. I was like, okay, well, I can't really disagree with that. Yeah. But he also didn't have any money, so I had to pay for that one. But it was like, now I'm in the wedding industry, so I wanted to go big. And I wanted it not just to be big, but something that I'd never seen before, and I'd seen everything. So I went with like a Vegas and Vancouver theme. My bridesmaids were wearing leopard print. It was like a big party with hip-hop dancers, and I made a music video to What a Man by Salt and Pepper for my dude. Like, I went all out. And that wedding was like, it ended up in Real Weddings magazine. It was epic. It really was. And still to this day, even though the marriage didn't work out, I'm really proud of the party that I threw. Like, I was like, I heard this thing one time, somebody said, a wedding is not a party because you wouldn't invite your grandma to a party. And I was like, no, my wedding's going to be a party that my grandma just happens to be at. So that's kind of how I saw that. Like, I threw it in a nightclub, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like straight party, and everyone was talking about it for a really long time afterwards. So I'm pretty proud of that one. Whether the marriage lasted or not, I'm stoked it.
See, that's so different because like in our culture, like that sort of situation is so like looked down upon. Like if a girl was to get married and then divorce, and like there's no way she'd look back and be like, well, my wedding was so sick, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas like you're able to kind of embrace that and be like,
I mean, they would at least say like, oh, at least I look good for sure.
Yeah, well, you know what, also though, there's a lot less shame for white people, and like it is a privilege in that like our families don't really, like my parents don't attach their value or their worthiness to my success as much as South Asian parents do. Yeah. So I feel like lots of couples, they're really embarrassed because the whole family feels kind of embarrassed that the marriage didn't work out. And that's not really like, I don't really refer to my family before I make a decision. It's very like, what is it? Like,
independent.
I'm so independent. Yeah. We value independence. Whereas, your culture values
a lot of codependency.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I actually, since I've been around, I'm around South Asian families and culture far more than I am around my own. Yeah. And to the point where like your way of life, if I could say that, actually makes more sense to me. So for example, for us, if you're 21 and you still live at home, it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, you can't get a job, you can't pay your bills. For white people, it's like, why are you still living with your parents? Yeah. Whereas like I work with brides all the time who are like 35 years old still living at home because they're not married yet, and they're telling me, I'm really nervous to move out of my home. I'm like, into your in-laws house? Like, what are you afraid of? I always say like, your toilet paper's already gonna be bought for you. There's already gonna be groceries in the cupboard. Like, you're gonna be fine.
But is that really a good thing? Like, you're 35. You're still like.
But like, I moved to Mexico by myself at 19.
That's
so I'm always like, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be cool.
Mexico at 19?
By myself.
For how long?
I lived there for 7 months on my own, working at a resort. Yeah, in my podcast, I talk a lot about. Then I was there there's a series called the Pablo Escobar series, and it's all about when I lived in Mexico. I was dating a Mexican drug dealer and all this kind of stuff. It was crazy.
That's wild.
It's just crazy. Yeah. So, because I've just always said yes to life. Like I've just done the weirdest, craziest shit because I'm like, I'm here for all of the things.
So you just worked at the resort, like just working there, like the people, like when you go on the all-inclusive kind of vacation
so
thing?
when you go to an all-inclusive, there's always staff that are like running the events
and playing volleyball with you and shit.
Yeah, and then performing on stage at night. So I would be in like Beauty and the Beast at night. Then I had to dance with the guests in the nightclub.
You were in the plays?
I was in all the plays. There's this one story I love to tell where it was the Michael Jackson show, because you know every resort has fucking Michael Jackson show.
Where was this?
This was in Playa del Carmen. If you've stayed at an all-inclusive, you've probably seen a Michael Jackson show. You're like, he's alive. He's here in Playa del Carmen.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty real sometimes. Yeah,
except until it's so funny. I went to a Michael Jackson show in Dominican Republic, and the guy who was dancing was black, and he had to put white face on to be Michael Jackson because his skin was too dark to play Michael Jackson. And as he was dancing, the white makeup was dripping off his face. It was a pretty terrifying version of Michael Jackson.
Terrifying version.
It's terrifying.
That's hilarious.
But what happened was, so in this one particular show, it was when I first got there, they wanted me to be the angel that came down from the ceiling at the end of the performance. It was the We Are the World song by Michael Jackson. And I'm supposed to lower down in this big dress, and I had this like harness with like a cord. And I had this little string that I had to hold on to keep me from rotating, right? Because otherwise. Yeah. So they lower me down from the rafters and like, we are the world. And there's me like lowering down. And then the string that I was supposed to hold on to broke.
Oh, shit.
So I started like rotating. And so my back is to the audience. And they're all looking up at me like I'm holy, but I'm like facing in the wrong direction. And at the end of that, they called me Jayna Pinata. I was just spinning.
You have any cheers out there just in case? Damn.
Cheers to Jayna Pinata.
Cheers. That's hilarious. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, right?
So how did that experience change you? Do you feel?
Well, I think obviously the independence thing, there was it also just made me feel like, it kind of gave me this vibe like God's got me, because I was so oblivious of how dangerous of a situation that I was in, from the person I was dating to the situation I was in, the country, all the crazy shit that happens in Mexico, you know what I mean? And I was just there like by myself. And this was before iPhones, like FaceTime, anything like that. So my parents wouldn't even hear from me for weeks. So if I just disappeared, they wouldn't have even known. Like they'd have no idea. There was no any sort of regular communication. I would call them from a payphone, collect like once a month.
Well, there's probably so much that like I feel like that's probably shaped your life to where you are right now.
For sure.
Do you ever look back and like regret anything in like terms of like, you know, maybe your marriages, or been like, maybe I shouldn't have been in this relationship, or do you take it?
Do you regret the Mexican drug dealer? Maybe in the moment I would have regretted it. You know, like what the fuck am I doing here? Like I did have a moment in Mexico specifically. I distinctly remember thinking like the Jayna, because I'm from Kelowna. I remember thinking the Jayna in Kelowna would kick this Jayna's ass right now. Like, what am I doing here? So in that moment, I regret it. But now, you know, like hindsight's 2020. Like now looking back, I'm like, no. Like that's, in order to love who we are today, we can't hate the things that made us this way, right? Yeah. So for me, I'm so proud of the woman that I am today, and confident in who I am, that I would not take back a single thing I've been through, because those are the building blocks that made me, right? Exactly. So that's my DNA now. So I'm like, yeah, no, I love that. And I have stories that I can relate to people. And, you know, it's the reason why I had to start a podcast, because my podcast, I feel like, makes all that crazy shit and the bad shit that I've been through feel worth it. Because it's like, now I have a meaning for all of this, you know, and building a tribe and being able to help women and being able to help other people feel more confident and love themselves more. So that's what I feel like my whole purpose is on this planet. And I kind of feel like I was given a lot of crazy stories. My life is like full of crazy stories. And also I was given a passion for telling stories. So it would be a total waste if I just
didn't tell the stories.
I didn't tell the stories. So it's like I'm obligated.
What's one of your favorite crazy stories? Do you have a favorite? Or just one that stands out?
The one that like usually gets the most attention, well, obviously the Mexican drug dealer thing, people go, ugh. But also like my hotel was held hostage on the day of my wedding, so I was literally, there was like a gunman in the second one.
Holy shit.
I was at the I was in the Pacific Rim.
Your life's like a movie.
I know. It's crazy. And it's shit that it's like
Somebody's writing the script.
I know, right? It's like I can't not have a part. Like you can't not tell these stories. And you also kind of feel like you're making a legacy. Like if I kind of, this is creepy to say, but if I died tomorrow, it's like all those things still stay alive in the podcast universe. Like those stories are still out there, right?
Out there, yeah.
But yeah, the guy that I was marrying, he was Filipino. Well, actually, he still is Filipino.
He changed.
He converted.
He changed. You're not the same anymore. But I really wanted to get married in the Philippines just as as a tribute to him and his culture that he was very proud of.
Yeah.
But his mom was like, no, that's not safe. They see you, if you're a white person, you're seen as being wealthy. If you're a bride, you're seen as having like a lot of value. So there's a really good chance you could get kidnapped. Whether or not that's true.
Was she okay with you? Like, do you think you guys had it?
She was fine with me. She just didn't want us getting married in the Philippines because she thought it wouldn't be safe.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, we'll be safe. We'll stay in Vancouver, one of the safest cities in the world, in one of the fanciest hotels, the Pacific Rim Hotel, right? Like fancy, safe. And then the night I'm getting ready for my wedding, all of a sudden I got a message on, the sirens went off at like 3:00 in the morning. I was drinking champagne with my girlfriends, and alarms went off. And we were like, should we clear the place? Like, what do we do? And then they were like, oh, it's probably nothing. So we go to sleep. I wake up at 6 a.m. and I just check my Facebook. And we'd been posting that we were at that hotel.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a DM and they said, oh my God, I'm watching the news. Are you okay? And I was like, what do you mean? So I Googled news, Vancouver Pacific Rim, and it's like there's currently a police standoff with a deranged gunman happening in the lobby of the.
What
so
year did this happen? Just sorry to interrupt.
It was like, of course you can interrupt. It's your show.
Just to think, and just to try to.
I think it was. I'm like, I should know what year I was married in. I think it was 2012. 2012. It was a Monday in 2012, so everybody knew because like the whole downtown got shut down. So I go running to the window and I look down because we were on the 9th floor, and I look down and there's just yellow tape and police cars everywhere, and I'm like, holy fuck, like
that's crazy.
Now what, right? So then. But at that time, it was 6 a.m. My wedding wasn't till 2. So I was like, all right, I've got time for this. This should clear up, right? Yeah. But then, like, time's passing. It's like, okay, my photographer is supposed to come in to take photos. Nobody can obviously come in or out of the hotel, you know. So anyways, it just kept going and going to the point where I was like, okay, now what? And so my ex had to go into social media. He went on Twitter and everything and started saying, like, I have, like, my fiance is like stuck in this hotel.
But he should have gone downstairs and cleared it up, man. He started tweeting it.
Like, huh.
Yeah, man. Go fight the guy.
He said that later, so I get out, whatever we got.
That's why you left him, right?
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I still can't get over that. Yeah. Like, you didn't even try.
On our wedding day.
Yeah, man. What's wrong with you?
I can't get over that. So we ended up getting escorted down like a freight elevator by like men in bulletproof vests and the GM of the hotel, because the guy was still in the lobby with the gun when we left. And so the first footage of me from my wedding, because my wedding planner told the video team, just wait with the limo, because the limo couldn't get closer than 3 blocks away, right? Mm-hmm. So I've got my photo, my video guy, the limo, like 2 blocks away. So the first footage of me is me running, my bridesmaids behind me. I'm running like towards the limo. I'm like, it's my motherfucking wedding day. And I had this hair flower. My hair just goes flying out in the wind. I'm like, bruh. And, but I made it on time.
It's a movie.
Yeah, I made it on time, right? And there was this chick walking in like a couple minutes late, and I was like, if I can get here past a guy with a gun on time, like, what excuse do you have?
Who was that? Who was that? Let's call her out.
Yeah, let's call her out. But what's funny is I got to the front of the church and everyone was just holding their breath because it was all over the news. Everybody knew that this was happening. And I got up to the front. It was just so tense. And I just said, woo, I made it. And then everyone started to cheer.
Kind of loosened it up.
Yeah. And then I looked out over like everybody's heads and there was all these video cameras, all these cameramen, all the news were there, like CBC, CTV, like everybody was there filming it. So we were on the news all across Canada. And when they interviewed us after the ceremony, they were like, did you ever think this wedding was not going to happen, to my husband? And he is like, nothing was going to stop me from marrying her today. I'm like, okay.
Twitter, right? Buddy's in the room, in the washroom, right? Tweeting away, come help us.
Did that day change like the dynamic of your guys' relationship in any way?
Did you look
like
at him
with
in a
all
different
that
way?
shit happening?
Well, what's really funny
There's so much like going on, right? Like news.
So what's really interesting is in Filipino culture, they can be very, very, very superstitious, not superficial, superstitious. Mm-hmm. And so all his aunties were like, this is a bad omen. You know, like they're all like, this is not good. And I was like, all this stuff, because the way I look at life in general is we can ask for a sign. And then God's like, here's a sign. And we're like, it's probably not that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you could be sitting there like, this seems like a pretty big, you know, but I'm like, this just means that like we can overcome anything, you know? So
Look at the positive.
You can translate anything to, manipulate anything to be, you know, what you want, you know? So I think that that's what I did. I was like, nothing's going to stop us.
I mean, what else can you really do in that?
Right.
You're not going to start sitting there looking at the negatives.
Right. And you're not going to call off the wedding like, well, this is weird. We should probably not do this, you know? So... Plus, I had this party that I'd planned. Like, I wasn't gonna call that off.
Yeah, fuck that.
Stupid gunman, man. But anyways, I was gonna say, how did you like having those 2 marriages? How does it affect you for your future, like going into relationships, dating, whatever, everything?
Yeah,
like
do you look at men different? Because I feel like girls do that after they have like one bad relationship.
Men do that too, though.
Really?
I feel like men have seriously one heartbreak because all right,
let's talk about it.
You
got 2 men in front of us.
Okay, so here's the thing. Women are expected to be emotional. Yeah. We're expected to care a lot about things. We're expected to cry once in a while, right?
Yeah.
So I think we can have a heartbreak and then we're like, all right, I got to dust myself off. And like, I was crying last week too, you know, whatever. But when a man gets his heart actually broken to the point where he's actually like brought to his knees, he's emotional, he's broken, it's a shock to the system. It's like, this is not supposed to be, I'm supposed to be a man. What has this done to me? So I think that it changes a man's perspective so much to the point where he's like, I'm never letting that happen again. Where a woman's like, well, I get sad sometimes. So I find lots of men, when you find out these guys that are like super fuckboys or have a really hard time getting relationships or cheat a lot, they always have some original
trauma.
Story, which is, well, in grade 4, Samantha broke my heart, and I'll never like. There's always this story.
But then I always feel like, as like on the man's perspective, that they to get to that point, it takes a lot. You know what I mean?
Like the broken.
Like to get to that point, like those type of guys to get to that point, like it. I think brings you to like you have to be brought down like pretty hard. Like a lot of shit's gotta happen.
But you know what it is?
Compared to the other way that they would put up with less shit.
Yeah.
But what she's saying, like the is, you know what it is with them? Is I feel like when they're raised in a way, like I can speak to brown boys because brown mamas raise their boys in a certain way. And it's like, a mama's boy who's been told he's everything, blah, 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 blah. And then when he goes into a relationship, for him, he already in his mind is already calculated that I'm everything, right? This is everything for this girl. Like, there's no chance this girl's gonna walk away from. He doesn't even think that. And then when that slightest bit of that starts happening, men start like acting out. They start doing stupid things, and then boom, it leads to insecurity. Then man starts becoming insecure. Girl breaks his heart. Like, that's something he never pictured even happening. So once that happens, now the mechanisms go up. Now it's like, okay, if I'm gonna date someone, I'm going to have like 2 other girls on the side just in case she breaks my heart.
Yeah. Or I'm not going to let this person close enough that they could actually hurt me. Or I'm not going to,
keep them at a distance. You know what I mean?
So that's what I'm saying. I don't think men handle breakups as well as women. We're like, okay, pull up your, and we have a tribe of people we can talk to about it. Like a man, it's really hard for a guy to reach out to his friend and be like, I can't stop. I can't get out of bed, right?
Yeah.
The beers are here. It's officially Bains and Beers now. It's officially.
Official.
Yeah, it's official.
Ladies and gentlemen, the beers.
They're done pretending to like this wine.
This fucking kind of bitter, yo.
So is beer. Beer tastes like pee.
Tastes like some shit like some old people would drink.
What was I gonna say? Fuck.
You asked me if being divorced twice affects my relationship now.
Your future dating.
I think the main thing that it changes is I have a really hard time just believing what somebody says, because 2 times in my life somebody was like, I am here until we die, and then 2 times I was super let down. So now I'm like, when someone's like, I'm just all for you, I'm like, we'll see. Like, wait. Like
your 2 relationships, they ended because of the other party, or it was mutual?
No, it wasn't. It was never mutual. It was like I wanted to fight for it,
and they didn't.
The first one was like a pretty abusive situation where like I left to get space so that maybe he could get counseling or whatever, but then he changed the locks and like fucked off. So I was like, I thought we were working on this, and he called it off. And the second one, I went to Mexico to do a destination wedding, and I came home and he was gone. So pretty like brokenhearted.
Wait, you went to? He was just gone?
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah, super fucked. To his mom's basement.
What?
So
you went to go Was there issues that were happening?
So there were and this is where I say, like, I don't think that I have regrets in that I got married. I have regrets in the way I handled myself in the situation, and that, like, I didn't stand up for myself, and I didn't say what I needed, and I didn't create boundaries and be like, this is not okay. You can't be partying 5 nights a week. Like, you cannot be gone all the time. So I was trying to be the cool wife, and I was like, everything's okay. I'm not his mom. Like, if he wants to party, like, that's what he's choosing. Because I want someone to want to spend time with me, not for me to force someone to sit on the couch and the whole time they're wishing they were at the nightclub, right? So I was trying to be the cool wife. And it was slowly just getting not cool. You know what I mean? Where to the point where I was like, okay, now I'm just really being taken advantage of. To the point where he would tell me he was working late at night, and then I'd have clients calling me and being like, oh my God, I just saw your husband at the nightclub. And I'm like, the fuck? And it's like, I didn't even make him ask me permission, and he's still lying to me. So things started to get pretty, like, he was really taking advantage of the freedom that I was giving him, right? So when I finally just said, like, I went away to Mexico, I had a little chat with my parents. I was like, I think I need to say something, that we need to work on our marriage. So I wrote him this beautiful, like, email where I was like, this is how I feel. I love you. Let's work on this. But, like, these are the things that I think are, like, kind of like
an email.
Yeah, because I was in Mexico and I wanted it to be properly worded, instead of sometimes you say something and then it gets off course and then emotions get in and then, like, your point.
It's a girl thing. Girls like doing that, bro. You get the paragraphs. It's like, yo.
But also, to be fair, I'd asked to talk about it multiple times and he told me literally to make an appointment. So yeah,
What?
I'm busy. If you can make an appointment.
What the fuck did this guy do? Is he rich?
Who is this guy, man?
Was he
I
rich?
feel like
No,
man. I feel like this guy was probably smooching. He probably
Can't be
needed
booking
money every
appointments,
time. You were
man,
probably
if
you were probably paying his lifestyle, man.
Yeah,
What a goof.
I can't. So it was like, make an appointment. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just. And the other thing was, I wanted to. Oh, there they are.
That sounded nice, right?
Sounded nice. It was like choreographed. You guys
Cheers.
opened.
Cheers.
Cheers. Should I also? Oh, it's nice and cold. I like
Might as well
that.
try it.
Okay.
Done.
Dan,
That's me
Sober
opening
October.
mine here.
Congratulations,
There you go.
Dan.
Attaboy, man.
Attaboy.
Okay,
Congratulations.
cheers.
You're a better man
So
than we
we
are.
each had 2 sips of wine, and now we're on to beer. I mean, this is Bains
I
and
mean, I
beer,
finished
so.
the wine.
I appreciate the coldness of it.
But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so my only regret would be knowing how to, like, stand up for myself, because what happened was, when I finally said how I felt in a very eloquent and well-spoken way, I had my parents actually read over it first because I wanted to make sure I was coming from a place of love. And they were like, nope, this is exactly worded, not offensive, just, loving place.
Yeah.
I sent it, and he just was like, I'm out. So this is kind of what's really crazy. Again, day in the life of Jayna. Life goes on. I'm obviously super upset that happened. I have to rebuild my self-esteem again, because it's like, it's pretty hard to build yourself up after 2 divorces. Like, it's a pretty shitty feeling.
Tough.
And restarting my life. And I heard one time somebody said that sometimes when you lose somebody, it's not that you miss them, but you have to mourn the death of a dream. So in that means, like, you're with someone right now, you picture what you're like. You have a painting in your mind of, like, what your future will look like with this person. And when somebody just decides to bail on you, now you have a blank canvas again. So it's like, well, now what? So you kind of have to rebuild that idea of what your future might look like again, right? So I'm like building myself, whatever. Time goes on. I go through, like, another heartbreak, which is easily the worst heartbreak of my life, and whatever. And everything's shitty and whatever. And then I start a podcast after I've healed, and I'm like, okay, it's time to, like, share what I've learned with the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody reaches out to me who says that they heard my podcast. And she's like, I was listening to your podcast because somebody told me, da-da-da. She's like, and then I heard this episode where you're talking about your marriage. And I thought, like, I should probably let you know I was sleeping with your husband the whole time you were with him.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
So I made that episode. I called it "Look What the Podcast Dragged In" because I was like, "Girl, what?" She's
Wait,
like,
did she do that in was it like an ego thing? Like, oh, I was sleeping with, or was it hater? Or like, was she trying to? Like, what's the point of doing that? The marriage is fucking over.
It's very debatable, right? Like, what was the actual intention of
Yeah.
this person? Like,
They could have just, like, said it for the sake of saying it.
Yeah,
but the
except that it
marriage
was-
is over.
But it was like a proper person type of thing.
It was a proper person and a proper situation. So what happened was, she said, I remember I met you in a grocery store. You were shopping with him for groceries, and she didn't know he was married. So here she is in the grocery store. She sees me and him together, like, who's this chick with this guy that I've been banging? And then he's like, hey, this is my wife, Jayna. And then the girl's like, the fuck, you're married? And then never talked to him
The
again.
balls he has. Holy
Yeah, so
fuck.
he introduced me to her, and I remember meeting a lady in a Safeway. Like, I distinctly remember going, like, this is so-and-so. And I was like, cool, whatever, because he seemed to know, like, everybody and their dog. he's sleeping with them apparently.
Holy fuck.
Ooh,
That's wild. He's like, hey, this is
Yes,
I'd be like, yo, let's go this way. Where's
he's
the
like,
milk?
This is my wife, and
Bro,
like,
man.
yeah. So she said I wanted to say something at the time, but I didn't want to like upset you or whatever, you know, da da da. Nice girl syndrome. And so she just pieced off. And then someone tells her you should listen to this podcast. She starts listening. And she's like, wait, that guy sounds familiar. Wait, oh my god, that guy. So then she's like, that's the girl that I met in the grocery store, and then reaches out to tell me like, just so you know, I was banging him. So
Holy fuck.
But what did she get out of that?
I don't know. I really don't know what she got out of it, but let's just say that I put his ass on blast.
You said you
So,
dropped his name, everything?
I literally
What's his name?
put. Okay, you guys, this is what I did. I went straight savage because the Jayna in that relationship was different, right? Like I
That's
built
like
up my
therapy for
confidence.
you. So
Yeah,
let it
I
out.
was like, no, let me show you that like I'm not okay with being mistreated. Like I'm just really not. So I actually put a post up on Facebook tagging him saying, would anybody else like to come forward and let me know that they were banging so-and-so while we were married? Because I got to finish writing this podcast episode.
Oh, fuck.
Tagged him so it showed up in his feed with all his friends. And they were like, oh, and you see all these people liking it, like following it.
That's fucking hilarious.
I was
Anybody else join the party?
Yo,
well, what's funny is any chick who liked it that I didn't know, I was
Yeah.
like, wait.
haters.
Yeah, no, but I was like, you? Is it you too?
Yeah, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a lot of haters?
I'm not oblivious to the fact that like I heard
I saw.
it.
Was it you the other day? I saw you responding to some comments on. one of
Oh,
your
I put a
posts.
post up that said letter to my haters, which or a letter
Oh,
to my
yeah.
hater. It was one person that had sent a very horrible message to me.
Yeah.
Like I live by the saying like not every follower is a fan.
Mhm.
So I fully respect that people are listening, even though they'll be listening today or they'll watch my stories and be like, oh, this idiot, and they're probably
Yeah.
sending it to people and
Yeah.
they're probably. But I always like
But you need that.
I always feel
Yeah.
like it's not a me thing. It's like
Yeah.
other people's
We have that.
things, right? So it's
Yeah.
like it's okay, like it's fine.
Keeps it balanced.
Part of the game too.
I
what you
cannot decide how everybody I cannot control how everybody's gonna feel about me. I can just be me.
Yeah, 100%.
And I guess like, you know, you had before we started recording, you had mentioned like a big scandal that I was a part of where everybody was talking shit about me. And the funny thing is, so I went through this situation where like pretty much felt like everyone in the South Asian community hated me and they were calling me horrible names, calling me a slut and all these sorts of things for something that I really didn't deserve it for, but that's beside the point. And I felt at that time that it was probably one of the worst things I'd ever been through. But one of the things that I learned from that was people can all feel however they want about me,
Yeah.
but I'm still the same before and after. So, and I'm still here. And so it's like, it's okay. Like everybody can hate me, but like I know who I am. And as long as I'm confident in who I am, I feel like it only really hurts. It stings a lot when it's got an ounce of truth to it.
Mhm.
But when something isn't true at all and you're like, that's not me and I know who I am, it's like I can be okay with that. And the people who know me
Yeah.
know that that's not me, you know? I heard a saying once that said, never explain yourself to anyone because the people who love you don't need it and the ones who don't won't believe you anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like the way I look at it is people are going to always lie about you. They're going to talk shit about you. That's on them. I'm a little bit more confused by people who believe it without even doing research or so if you believe it, like what does that say about you? You just literally believe anything anybody tells you, you know?
Yeah,
So
it's just like-
it was in the South, like our community. You were saying. Like
You
the
already know this. Yes.
scandal? So
You know this.
I honestly
he,
don't know
he
myself.
probably doesn't know. I heard a little
I
bit
don't
about
know.
it. It was about some brown girl
Yeah.
and some guy, and then she like spilled water or something.
Yeah, well she I don't know if she followed it. It was someone who had told me that he was single or told me that his marriage had ended and he wanted to go out for lunch with me. I met him for lunch and then this lady just comes barreling in with a glass of water.
So you didn't know that he was in a relationship?
No, not at all. He was
Okay.
literally talking to me all the time
Yeah,
about
yeah.
she's crazy. We're
Yeah.
not together anymore. You know, can you just be my friend and can we talk? Whatever. Like, and this isn't my.
I mean, that's not your fault then.
No, not
because you didn't know he's in a relationship.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And not only that, I wasn't interested in. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. My
Yeah.
thing was, she posted a video of this happening with her confronting me, calling me a whore, calling me a homewrecker, and the video went viral. Like I didn't even know anything like this could happen. And I'm not as miffed about her because she was doing whatever she needed to do in that moment, I guess, for what she thought she was doing to keep her family together or whatever. Like, I don't care. It was more like how fast this message spread in a community that I was like, holy shit. It was like,
Bro, that blows my mind because it's like, as that, why does
You probably saw it. You just don't know
no,
that it's
but
what you saw.
why does our community come after you?
Because I'm the white girl who's like ruining, this.
But
whole
what?
Indian
Isn't
life.
she happy that her man got caught? Like, if he's gonna do it one time, he's gonna do it 2 times, he's gonna do it 3 times. It's a blessing in disguise.
It's an excuse more. I feel like.
Yeah, but you can't. But that's bro. It's like, okay, I'm gonna ask you.
I'm agreeing with you.
If some guy comes up to your girl, starts chatting her up, she gives him the time of day. Do you blame the guy or the girl?
It's the girl.
You blame your girl because you're like, you set that boundary.
And
so
you're the one in the relationship.
right? Because that guy maybe doesn't know that.
No, but I'm not saying that. What I was saying is you were saying you're like, I'm the white girl, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying like that's how it became a bigger thing for that reason.
Yeah, not only I'm not
like
only my white, but also I'm a makeup artist. So people, like, for example, people could have gone off on her, but nobody really knew who she was. So it's a lot more fun to be like, Jayna, that makeup artist who works in weddings, is like ruining. So then the thing is, it's almost like a game of telephone where so like the video was just me sitting at a Browns at 2:00 in the afternoon. It was
That's
like
awkward.
it's literally nothing. It's literally nothing except her freaking out on me and whatever. But then the video was called Jayna Marie caught cheating with my husband. There's no dicks anywhere. There's nothing. But so then if you only saw the title and you never read or people go, did you hear about Jayna in that cheating video? Then it's like, did you hear? So then just 2 weeks ago I was doing a wedding, and 2 weeks ago this happened like 4 years ago. This scandal thing,
Holy
right?
fuck.
Literally. Just 2 weeks ago, I was doing a wedding, and the bride goes, yeah, you know what's really crazy? She said, I told my friend asked me who I hired to do my hair and makeup, and I said, you. And she said, oh, don't you know who she is? And my bride said, no. She goes, she's the one who stole one of her bride's husbands. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, it's like a game of telephone. It just gets like, I never,
the
a
story
bride.
just adds.
Yeah, like,
so she wasn't your bride or anything.
No, it was
Oh,
nothing to do
okay.
with my
So-
business whatsoever, but that's just the
You better
story that got.
fuck.
And I said, and then you booked me anyways. And she was like, well, I love your work. And I'm like, well, thanks for booking me, even though
I
you thought I'm
mean,
a husband stealer.
There's pros and cons to being in the South Asian country.
Like, here's what I think. Here's my take on that. If you know my story, you know.
As you know, brown people don't like accepting fault. They like to blame.
Okay, well, you
right?
said that, not me. My thing is, I'm not gonna.
You're thinking it, but it's true though.
I
I'll be
didn't
real.
say
It is true. They don't want to take.
Here's the thing that people need to know about me is, I didn't even want my own husbands. I don't want your husband. like I don't want. I'm good.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
That's hilarious.
I've got my 2 French bulldogs. I am happy. Like I'm
French
good.
bulldogs. Not a cat lady then.
Pardon?
not
a cat
cats.
lady. Nope, not a cat.
Are you in a relationship now?
That's top secret information.
Oh shit.
Can I ask you this then?
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
How?
Uh-oh.
No, it's not bad. It's actually a good question. I feel like, how do men view you, knowing that like when you meet them and that you've had 2 marriages before? Do they treat you any differently? You ever feel like?
I think anyone who takes the time to get to know me and what I went through sees it as endearing. It's like this person tried twice. It's something that some people are afraid to try once, you know? So like I see it personally too. I see it as like, you fell down, you dusted your knees off, and you tried that thing again. So, I mean, I have had a couple guys be like, wow, you've been married twice. Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, yes, 2 people thought that I was worthy of spending the rest of my life with them. 2 people, I tried twice. Like, it's not like, that's not really. And personally, if somebody had beef about it, like, that's just not my person. Like, there's some things about me I can't change. It's part of my story. Like, again, like I say, I'm confident in who I am. So if you don't like that, it's cool.
I mean, one was at 19. You were so young.
Yeah.
You're a child at that.
You
Yeah.
could have just called that like a relationship, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same
right?
time,
I heard this stand-up comedian one time. He said that he was 35 and he wasn't married yet. And he goes, yeah, the way I look at it is I just skipped the first marriage.
Yeah.
It's like,
basically.
yo, I tried something when I was way too young and dumb. Like, everyone made mistakes at 19. One of mine was getting married. Like, that's,
Yeah.
I wasn't partying. I wasn't banging a bunch of people. Like, I'm just somebody who wanted to be with one person. I wanted to move out. I wanted to pretend I was an adult. I wanted to just, like, live the life.
I feel like that's the stigma it probably receives, because it's like if 1 didn't work, 2 didn't work, now they probably look at you and say like, oh, maybe she just, she's
She's the
out.
problem
You know
or
what I
anything
mean?
like
Out
that. Do you
there
ever
doing.
get that
Mhm.
vibe? Ever?
Yeah, well, there are things about me that I'm hard to be with, because I make my own money. I'm successful. I'm very goal oriented. So it is hard to be a man standing beside me. And
Ooh.
so
It's a bar.
Yeah.
it's not, it's just like, for example, every time I meet a guy, it's like, oh, I don't mind that you make more than me. Like, I think it's hot. Sure, it's always hot at first
Nah.
until the ego starts to get hit, until, it eventually loses its charm, and then they start doing things because they just don't feel confident. And I can't help a man feel good about himself. I cannot make you feel more like a man. As much as I try and hype you up, as much as I never bring up the money thing, as much as I never bring up that I'm the one paying all the bills or anything, I'll never say that. But just at the end of the day, it just ends up being, a thing.
Insecurity.
Yeah. So it's like, I do know that it's hard for me. Also, not even aside from being goal oriented and business focused, it's like I travel all the time by myself for my work. So some guys, you'd have to be so confident to not think that I'm
Trust issues.
That's big. Yeah, like I'm traveling all over the world. Like, there's so many things, and I'm not apologetic about it. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm doing with my life, and I really get so much more fulfillment from my career than I do from any relationship I've been in. So until somebody comes along that is better for me than all these women in this girl tribe that I've had and all this, I'm like, I'm good.
Would you ever change for a man in terms of like, if he was like, okay, can you tone it down in terms of like, traveling and doing all that? Do you ever feel like you make that compromise, or is that like a point where it's like, no, that's taken away from who I am as a person?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like,
because you know how they say in a relationship, there's compromise.
Of course. I always feel like the right person for me will be the kind of person that can like ride the wave with me, as opposed to someone that I have to completely shift my whole trajectory for. Like, I feel like we would flow together and like increase each other's pace instead of me having to like slam on the brakes and move in a different direction. Cause like, for example, I dated a guy who at the time my makeup business was kind of like just taking off. So I wasn't doing nearly as well as I am now. And he was a commercial photographer, and he made bank. And I was working when in my slow season as his like assistant. I would do his production, behind the scenes, contracts, booking locations, all that kind of stuff, and models, whatever. And he was like, Jayna, my business is doing so well. I make so much more money than you. You really should just quit what you're doing and join, like, just be full time with me. And I would have for sure at that time made a lot more money in that moment, in that short term. But I was like, I didn't sell everything I own, move to another city, go to makeup school, do all these sorts of things so I could be some photographer's like assistant. That's not my dream. So I passed on it. Eventually we broke up. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if I would have like passed on my business for
going,
right. And then at the end of the day, like, stock photography is taking a hit. I'm sure the money that he makes has gone down tremendously, and mine is just like, my work has just gotten busier and busier, So it's like, it wouldn't have benefited me whatsoever to just shift everything for something that wasn't my dream.
Facts.
Like, the right person will be like, yo, I love that you're doing this. Like, why don't I do the behind? Like, there's a lot of women that I see out there, like Huda Beauty and all these sorts of like big boss lady, like women in the industry, who their husbands are like a part of their
business,
a part of their empire. They're like, oh no, he does all the behind the scenes, the tech, the whatever, or he's the manager. And I've offered that to people who I've dated who didn't have careers of their own. Like, we could do this together. Like, do you want to? And it's just an ego thing. Again, it's like, no, if it's from you, like, I'd rather have done this on my own, So I'm okay. I mean, we could build an empire. We could be traveling together. We could be doing all these cool things. Yeah. But it's that ego, it gets in the way.
Do you ever like, well, you said it's top secret, but like, are you out there like in a point where it's like, fuck, I just want to find love, like someone that like just, gets
there are
me?
moments. That's a really good question. There are moments when, for example, just recently, I was doing a wedding in Cabo just like last month, and I walked out onto the beach, and it was the most beautiful sunset I'd ever seen. Like, the sky was on fire. And it's moments like that where I'm like, if I had someone to share this with right now, like, or if I taste something really good and I want to be like, try this, isn't this, oh yeah, like, because like, I am by myself, like, all the time. I live by myself. I spend like 90% of my time with just me and my dogs or my clients or whatever. And so when it's something like, those like really beautiful magic moments, it's like, oh, it would be nice to have someone to share this with. Then that's when but that's where it's like, hey, if I had someone who had a job that was more kind of like mobile, or like, a day trader, or someone that had something that like, we could do this, we could be on the move together, right? Yeah. So that's the one thing that's kind of tricky. It's not that easy to find that.
So then, like, what's the perfect man for you think? So
what
is that? Do you like,
goodness,
is it too hard? Like, what do you describe it as? Because you're saying you have these kind of standards, and you're saying that you're hard to be with in sort of way. Or do you only mean that you're hard to be with in the sense of like the power sense because of how the
literally only that? I've been so accepting of guys making no money, because see the way.
She accepted a broke boy.
Do you ever?
Yeah, I'm
do you ever
so
try
accepting.
for a guy? Have you dated a guy with money, and what's the difference with that?
So my experience with traditionally the majority of the people that I've dated have been broke, and that's because the things that a broke guy has to offer, which there are things that broke guys have to offer, is or more my values than somebody coming with money to the table. Because I'm like, I can already buy my own Louboutins. I can already go on a trip. So that's not my first priority. My first priority is, do we have sexual chemistry? Or are you funny? Are you interesting? Are you smart? Can you travel with me? A guy who's got no job can travel with me anywhere. I just have to pay for it.
Sexual chemistry.
Yeah, like that matters more to me than just money. Like I don't want to not want to make out with you. Like I have to, so
how about physical attraction?
Yeah, all those things that matter more than just like what car do you drive. I don't care at all. Like I do not care if you're just Ubering everywhere. Like I literally dated a guy who not only did he not have a car, but he was couch surfing with his broke uncle, who I also was paying for Ubers for his broke uncle. Like we're talking like I have no. It was bad. I was buying groceries for their house. Like I have dated some broke guys. Nobody can call me superficial. Like nobody. Okay.
That's respect.
And, like nobody
I'd
can
say
call me.
that's like pretty cool. That like because a lot of girls in your position
you
will
helped
do that.
out a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm like,
it's a charity. Think of it as a charity.
World
man.
Vision.
Twitter homeboy there, fucking asking for help, man. Got a handout.
One guy asked me to pay his rent. Okay.
Oh,
I've done it multiple times for.
Okay, that's the problem.
Hey, rent's due on the first.
That you start offering too soon.
Right.
So these guys take advantage of that.
1,000%.
You can't show them what you have. You gotta play that. You like, I'm.
You have to play like the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
But instead, the way I it's because I have no attachment to money. I just love on people. I always do my bookings and leave before I've even been paid. Because I'm like, do you love how you look? Great. That's all I need. And then I leave and they're like, do you want your money?
I actually have a friend. She's like that, where she's got a lot of money, so she doesn't care. Like growing up in her family, like it was like the parents didn't have time, but it would be like, what do you want? Here's money, go get it.
Right.
So all she her way of loving is through money.
So I grew up broke as a joke, like single mom, poor. And so the way I see money is God gives me enough to fill my pockets.
Yeah.
And once my pockets are full, anything extra is for everybody else.
Okay.
That's how I am. So if somebody asks me for something and I have extra, it feels ungrateful of me for my blessings, because I feel like I've been blessed to be a blessed. It feels ungrateful of me to not give. It's like I do. All my bills are paid. I have food in my fridge. I have money in savings. So you need groceries? Of course. So that's just the way my mind works. It doesn't translate well into dating. Because what happens when you're dating is you start off like giving, and then I overgive.
You
and
don't
then
receive enough back.
Well, no, but then the guy starts to think, there's no way she can actually really love me because she has to do so much for me. Like, how can you possibly love me? Like, I don't have anything to offer. I can't match what you're doing. How could you love me? So it makes them almost get like insecure because like, so there's one guy, he was like, hey, do you mind sending me money for the rent? And I was like, oh, again, kind of thing. Like, all right, fine. Wow. I sent him money for the rent. And the very next day, he announced his relationship on Facebook with somebody else.
What?
And he blocked me, but my best friend saw it. She was like, is this his sister? I'm like, he's really close to her if that's his sister.
But yeah, I could see that because guys will do that, man.
Yeah.
Guys will do that.
He's like, hey, I'm going to get kicked out if I don't get this money like now. I'm like, okay. I was running around to all different Western unions.
We will kick you out.
Okay, well, yeah, this guy's property manager.
I should have called you.
So,
can you kick this guy out for me?
No problem.
Get him out. Do you feel like you have a lot of trauma from those first few relationships, or like growing up from the where you've come from that would go into your relationships? Like, do you feel like at a point a certain guy might be like, well, she's bringing on a lot of trauma from where she comes from, and do you feel like that may be like more difficult for another man to navigate through?
For sure. So I have done a lot of counseling. I've done like 15 sessions. Thank you very much. So I have like worked through a lot of like, because the problem isn't the relationship. It's like, why was I okay to get in that? Like, what happened before that made me okay to get into that position? Yeah, right? Exactly. And so because I feel
like you can see signs from what a guy's
1,000%.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's like when people say, oh, this woman drove me to drink, or like I got so mistreated that I became an alcoholic. It's like, no, you played yourself. Like, you can never blame anybody else for your response. Like, you just cannot, right? And the thing is, like, for example, in like one of my biggest heartbreaks where I was so screwed over, it's like I could sit there like a victim and be like, oh my gosh, like this person lied to me and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like the victim, and the whole... then your mindset is at any point in this life, someone will just turn on me and then I'm going to get really, really like annihilated and, whatever. Or I can take personal responsibility and say, wait a second, what were the signs in the very beginning that I could have acknowledged and taken the step to walk away, right?
Yeah.
So for example, if I'm like, there was this giant red flag in the beginning that I ignored. So then I'm taking personal responsibility for how things got fucked up instead of just always acting like something happened to me that I couldn't prevent. Because it's like, it doesn't benefit you to give yourself the role of a victim in your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
100%, 100%.
What do you say always?
What, victim services.
Yeah, right. It's like, I'm not a victim. Like I made some bad decisions.
Yeah.
Like, and I let this person treat me this way, or I let this person get away with that. And so of course, why would they stop it if I let them, right?
Okay, so for a male, now let me talk to you from a male perspective. So like, I'm sure you have friends that have gotten into relationships. Have you ever seen one of your friends get into a relationship where you look at the guy and you're like, dude, do you not see the red flags?
Of course. And
Like,
I knew that other people were looking at me the same way. Like, you know, I always say, if you're not sure what to do in a situation, imagine you were your friend giving you the advice, right? And you see that all the time. And I'm like, I get it. But it's always so easy to be the friend. Like, she sucks for you. Like, this guy's a piece of shit. It's like, yeah, but you're not having sex with her. You don't have feelings for her. Like, it's always so easy, the person without the feelings, to give the advice. Right? Like, easy for you to say break up with her. Yeah. It's like easy for you to say break up with her. I already bought her a Christmas present. You know, you're like.
Fuck. That's crazy, because I guess at a certain point it becomes like an obsession where it's like you're not used to the person, now you're just used to the idea of the person being around.
Or the habit. Yeah, you wake up in the morning, you text good morning, baby, and like that's your habit.
That,
so then you wake up in the morning, you're not with that person anymore. You go to, oh, she's not there to text. Like, do you really miss her? Or do you miss having someone to text in the morning? Yeah.
It's probably the second.
Yeah. I always tell girls on my podcast, I'm like, if you're out there like needing a boyfriend sweater, like don't lower your standards for a boyfriend sweater. Like just spray some men's cologne on an extra large Nike hoodie. Like, wear it to bed. Like, you're fine. If you want to text in the morning, hit me up. I'll text you back sexy things. Like, I'll do it. Like, don't lower your standards.
What makes a girl want to cheat on her mans?
What makes a girl want to cheat on her man?
Yeah.
When she feels like her emotional needs aren't being met.
Is that what it is?
I feel like it. Or you feel like...
So let's just say like a girl...
Like lots of times, okay, so men put in the work when they're trying to bang somebody. You know, so that's why they say like women get away with cheating so much more often than men do. Like I believe men and women cheat the same, but men just get caught. And the reason why men get caught is because they have to put so much more work in to be able to get booty. So for example, you got to talk to the girl. You got to be there for her. Build her trust, right? So you build her trust. Now you got a text history on your phone. You got her booty pics on your phone. You're going to get busted, right? Whereas like a girl, you could literally walk into any nightclub and be like, want a bone? And it's like, sure. I don't have a texting history on my phone. I don't have any, no evidence, nothing.
Like a one night stand, just like
and
that.
you'll never, and guys will happily fuck off and never message you again.
Yeah.
Where girls are like, hey, I miss you. Are you sad we did that? You know, you get the follow-ups, but guys are like stoked. I remember the first time I went to Las Vegas after I got married the second time, I had a big rock on my finger. And I thought, clearly nobody's going to talk to me because I'm married.
Yeah.
And it's not like I wanted anybody to talk to me, but I was like, oh, this is going to be my married Vegas experience. Guy walked up to me. He's like, hey, what? I was like, no, I'm married. And he was like, good. He goes, where's your guy? And I was like, not here. He's like, good. I'll never have to hear from you again. It's like, I love that you're married because we can fuck tonight and you're not going to call me tomorrow because you don't want to get in trouble, right? So guys love that kind of thing. So I always say like, yeah, girls just don't have the evidence on their phone. They don't have the...
Did it work?
No.
Have you ever cheated? It feels like you're talking from experience. The way you said that whole part, it was like, fuck. It's like she's done it, and she's like, I ain't ever gonna get caught cheating, whereas you are, so you better not fucking do
Her
it.
and her tribe can't get caught. We're on to
I'm here to
them.
tell women how to get away with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, have I ever cheated? I can say that I have for sure cheated mentally in that like I was lining up my next person while I was in another relationship. Yeah, and I think that's like a thing that women do, especially nice girls, because you're too afraid to like hurt somebody and break up with them, but you'll start looking for other people because if somebody else inspires you enough, then you're like, oh, okay, now I have a reason to break up with that guy.
Men do that too.
Yeah, right? It's like, it's what we do. Well, they say that women are monkey branchers. Have you ever heard that theory?
No.
So you're hanging onto a branch, but you're not going to let go of a branch with both hands. You let go
one hand
once to another. Yeah.
Okay.
So you swing to the other branch once you have somewhere else to go. So a lot of women are pretty bad for that. And that's just like feeling like you're not relevant unless you're in a relationship. Like some insecure people they need to be in a relationship to feel okay with themselves. Some people are afraid of being alone, right? So it makes sense to be like, okay. I'm not going to leave this yet because this is like the devil that I know. So I may as well just stay here. But if someone else piques my interest or something else seems to be, it happens all the time, right? You go through a breakup and you're like, she's already in another relationship. Oh no, honey, she started that relationship 3 months ago.
Yeah. We always hear that, man.
Yeah, it's a very normal thing.
But it usually happens to good guys. I feel like guys that were like so invested, proper, and then all of a sudden she's like, fuck, and then you try telling them, bro.
Happens to everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's just the bad guys don't care as much because they were doing the same shit.
Yeah, that's true.
But then it could be the same the other way. I feel like you're saying like it's pretty equal.
But it's worse when a girl cheats.
Why?
I feel like as a man, as a man, when you cheat, it's not really no attachment, right? You just do it, whatever. You have sex. Women, they do it emotionally.
So when a man cheats, it's like, I'm just trying to get my dick wet.
That's it. Like he's just trying to bust a nut, call it a day.
But a girl's
then when
like,
he busts that nut, he
you're
fucking
like, shit,
missed
what
the
did
wife.
I
just do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when a girl does it, it's more emotional because it's like, you know what? I feel like there's more to it. That's why it hurts a man more when his girl, you know what I mean?
Okay, but you might be giving a little too much credit to all the girl hookups that are happening because there are girls who hook up just like, and then I never talk to that guy again.
Oh, really?
Like there is for sure. Yeah, because it's easy. Because a guy will, you can get
away.
That's true.
You can get away with just banging and never having to talk to someone again.
That's fun. Imagine that, man.
Huh?
That'd be like so sad.
To what? Never
You're
talk
like
to someone?
70 years old and your girl comes up to you. I cheated on you like 20 years ago. And it's
6
like,
times.
fuck. Bro, I'd be devastated, man.
See, like for me, I kind of feel.
Sorry, go ahead.
I kind of feel like I wouldn't want to be cheated on, knowing that like I could have been doing the same thing. Like I'm loyal. Like okay, fine. Are we gonna have an open relationship? Because if you want to be banging everybody. Like if that was the principle, like, hey, we hook up sometimes, we're not exclusive, like that would right.
Yeah.
But
that causes problems too.
Oh, for sure, 1,000%. But I'm just saying, I don't want to be that one that's like sitting there like polishing my halo on a Friday night, and you're, like that's what happened in my second marriage when I was like, I'm sitting every night working my ass off to pay the bills and whatever, and you're out partying, and then I find out you're banging people too. Like, choose a battle, man. You either got to be broke or a cheater. Like, please don't be both.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, bro. That's kind of sad.
Like,
and then you on Twitter trying to fucking get them to come help you. Yeah. Fucking man.
No way, this wasn't happening.
But so the moral of this story is, right? This is like what I always like come back to in my life. In that very moment when I came home from Mexico and realized that my husband was gone, I was like, fuck, like this is the worst. I'm divorced for the second time. Like, this is terrible. This is the worst. All I wanted to do was make things better. And he left. And then it was 7 years later, I started a podcast and somebody tells me I was banging your husband when I was with him. I didn't know in that moment that I was being protected.
Way to pull it back. Nice.
Yeah.
I was being protected.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, we don't always know. We don't know all the conversations that are happening when we're not in the room. We don't know all the things that are moving and shaking behind the scenes. But I am always like, God's got me, man. Like, even in the moment where I'm like, why? Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, why am I going through this again? It's like there was a reason. And I had to wait 7 years to find out what the reason was. But there was a reason. And I always feel like if you went through some shit and you feel like it was for no reason, just wait. You'll find out what the reason was.
Eventually.
Yeah. You just need to be a little bit more patient. Like if you don't know what it was yet, be patient. Like you go through a horrible breakup and you think this is the worst thing ever. And then 3 years later, you meet like the woman of your dreams who's like everything you could have ever wanted for yourself. You had to go through that heartbreak in that one moment in order to get this thing later, right?
So when you get the divorce the second time, like you're saying when you came back, like it was you were saying like, oh my God, this fucking sucks, blah, blah, blah. Was it more about like, oh, like the relationship, or was it more about, oh fuck, like everybody's gonna look like I'm getting married, getting divorced?
Yeah, does that matter?
I knew the marriage was bad. Like because I was suffering in it. Like I was like a bird in a cage. I was depressed. I'd gained so much weight because I was so neglected and just feeling unloved. I was reaching for food, for comfort. It was a really bad situation, but I was just being loyal. I was like, I'm staying here for life. I don't care how shitty it is because this is my second shot at it, right? So I knew the marriage wasn't great, but I was trying to fight for it. But so when he left, I was like, fuck. Like it was more like I wasn't missing the relationship. I was embarrassed that not embarrassed, but I was disappointed that I tried again and it failed. It was more like the principle than
It's like you fail the test twice or something like that.
Yeah.
But like in a bigger scheme of things.
But bro, that's like more of our culture. It's because we grow up in that environment.
Yeah,
Where it's like our
obviously,
parents are
like,
constantly like, yo, make sure this is it.
But I will say the contrary to that, because you probably see this yourself because you're in the wedding industry even more than us. There's a lot of people getting divorced that are brown.
There's a lot of everybody getting divorced.
Yeah, I have a question.
But
You probably-
It's like
just one thing that I should mention. You know how
Yeah.
at the very beginning we talked about I pay for my own wedding.
Yeah.
Your parents maybe pay for your parents are a lot more invested when they've dropped $100K
100%.
for you to get married. And my mom was like, I don't know, I just showed up to a party.
Yeah.
I don't think we as
Shut
kids
up.
realize that, bro.
Yeah, I
Like
didn't think about that.
how much of a, you know what I mean? And like we just take that shit for granted. How many girls have you sat down with that told you that they're just getting married for the sake of the whole fucking
I've had quite a few people sit in my chair and say, I don't think I'm ready for this.
yeah. And they're just doing it because of the fucking whole.
Yeah, or like I'm ready for the wedding. I don't think I'm ready for the marriage.
That's crazy, bro.
Or
Think
like
about that.
I've had couples
Hopefully their
that
husbands aren't watching this.
yeah.
or I've had couples that didn't make it a year.
A
or
day.
A year. They didn't make it a year.
I've heard days, man.
Oh yeah, there was a couple that I did their ceremony during COVID, and they were postponing. They were going to do the reception when things opened, but they didn't make it to their reception.
Yeah.
Like, and it's because you get so wrapped up in wedding, and you're not thinking about the actual relationship outside of it. Also, like, I'm sorry, but like in the South Asian community, like God bless for the couples who all of a sudden you're living with your person for the first time, on top of with that person's family for the first time. That like maybe you haven't even spent that much time with his family. Like there was a girl I knew, she'd been dating her guy for 10 years, but she'd never been in his family's house one time in 10 years because they said, nobody's coming in this house unless you are our daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
And I was like, what if they're hoarders? Like you have to live in this house. Like what? Like
yeah,
what?
that's crazy.
Like you have to live in this house.
Yeah.
So there's so much that you have to get used to as a person. Like not a lot changes for the man. You just get to have a babe in your bed now. Like not a lot changes. You get
Yeah.
somebody to bone every night.
But we're kind
but
of stuck in the
girl-
middle.
Yeah, but the
then
girls gotta
We're
like
stuck in the middle.
leave her
Well, we
parents,
gotta
live in your
learn. I feel like we gotta learn too, though, like a little bit.
Would you,
like
like-
because we're gonna just the way we're raised and everything. Like you see it probably yourself, right? So I feel like at the same time, like living with the person, that's our challenge. Living with another person all the time.
Like you know
How
how
obviously it's not as hard as going living with in-laws, anything like that. Obviously, if we had to
Right.
do the same
But
thing,
you also
that's
have
harder.
the support of your whole family. You have
That's the
everybody
thing.
there.
But then
you
we
know?
also have our wife, and we have our mother-in-law, or
That's a
our
big
mother,
thing.
Your mother,
and
yeah.
then we have our family that are
Right.
in the ears, and then we have the
And
kind
you
Then
know
we're
what's
kinda
so
stuck in the
balance. And
middle.
how do
You know
how
what's
do
so
you
funny?
balance? Like she's saying this, mom's saying this.
So
What do you
this
do?
conversation, it's
Yeah.
so funny because I end up with a very different perspective than a lot of my clients because I'm an outsider looking in. So I can kind of be a little bit more critical. And sometimes exactly what you're talking about
Yeah.
is exactly the reason why I believe that arranged marriages make sense in the South Asian community. Because you're bringing a woman into your home that the whole rest of the family also has to accept. So if you chose that person yourself, it's like everyone's like, we didn't choose this bitch, like we don't like her. But if it's like mom, dad, like you picked her,
yeah.
then there's like more of like
deal
a
with it now.
yeah, like
Now
we're
they're
all
all
in
dealing
this.
it
Yeah.
together, yeah.
So there's a big difference. So sometimes I'm like, no, it makes perfect
I didn't
sense.
think about it like that.
Right?
But it's also this like
That makes sense.
if you bring home like your daughter-in-law, then the girl's like to you, well, your mother doesn't treat me the way like end of the day I'm just a daughter, and she's gonna compare herself to like how the sisters get treated. But then that kind of puts everything in a predicament because the mother's not gonna treat you the way she treats her daughters because she might have been strict on her daughters. She might have yelled at them, said certain things to them at certain points. Maybe you don't, do certain things like the way she taught her daughters to. So she's gonna go out of her way not to make you feel that sort of way. So I feel like there's such a thin line there for a
there's so
man.
many
'cause
dynamics.
You're
like,
stuck in the politics of both sides.
Oh yeah, like I just can't even imagine like the dynamics that are there between. Do you get along with your dude's sisters? Does your
Yeah.
mom? Oh my god, like that's what I'm saying. Like couples are so hard. Like people are so hard on a couple when they don't make it. But what I'm saying is there's so much to go through in your first year that it makes sense. Like, and I'm not saying it's okay, but it makes sense. Like it's so much on one couple, just literally just waking up next to the same hairy dude every day, let alone the whole family. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah.
lot. It's a
The
lot.
father-in-law, the mother,
Everybody, right? The
BB.
sisters. Yeah, it's a,
the
it's a lot.
dada who's like, yeah, that's true.
Like
It's crazy.
I've, in all the relationships I've been in, I think of all the moms. And I think, would I be okay with living with any of those ladies? Like, ugh, and that's a lot.
How would you be as a mother-in-law? Do you feel like you'd be like, you know, if she comes into the house and like now she's got a mess there or something that you don't like your way, would you? How do you approach the situation?
I am a very like I'm easygoing, and I'm pretty like I'll say how I'm feeling, but like I'm all about I feel like the way things should always happen in these sorts of communications. And what do I know? I'm just a dumb gory. But I always feel like the person that should be doing the communicating is the husband. So for example, let's say my daughter-in-law was like leaving disasters all over the house. I would rather tell my son, hey, I think you have to talk to your wife because she's leaving mess all over the place. Because I can talk to my son, we have that rapport.
Yeah.
But if I go to her, like, hey, it's like all of a sudden now we've created
World War IV.
where it's better to just, and same with as the wife. Like I always feel like when you live with your man, if you have beef with your mother-in-law, you're better to tell your dude how you feel. Yeah. Let him express it to his mom. Instead of you,
but
because his mom will always forgive him.
But that ends up being a scene too, because
then you just get choked. Like, yo, what the fuck you telling me this?
No, but not even that. If let's just say the guy's fucked either way. The girl comes to the guy. she's like, I have an issue with the mom doing so and so, right? So the guy goes to mom and says, Mom, well, you need to stop doing so and so. Right away, the mom's gonna be like, oh, she has an issue with it. Right now, if the mom comes to the son and says, hey, like, you know, she's doing so-and-so, he goes to her and says, so-and-so, you need to stop. She's going to be like, oh, well, does the mom have an issue? So either way, the guy is kind of fucked.
I just feel like a message is always so much better coming from your actual son or from your actual husband than somebody else's mom. Like, it's just, the message is going to suck.
It's just
going to suck, but I'd rather hear it from...
Maybe we should switch the rules up, right? The guy moves into the girl's
It's basically...
See how much you like.
Is it better of the... What do they say?
You guys
better
really shouldn't be asking me this. I have literally no experience.
But I feel like I know, because you come from those environments where you sit with the girl on the day of your wedding. That's where the real shit comes.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you're a goatee, these girls open up more.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
I feel like you understand more of our culture than we do ourselves.
What's one of your funniest experiences with your bride?
Okay, this one's really funny. So I was working with this girl. And it was like 3:00 in the morning. It was a ceremony booking. And I love her. She's so sweet. But she was like drinking all morning. Alcohol. Like so by the time I'm done her makeup, she's tipsy, right?
Yeah. Nice.
She's going to the Gurdwara?
Yeah. That's what everybody says to me. She's going to the Gurdwara. Yes.
Oh,
and by the way, that's a word that I cannot. Gurdwara? I can't say that word.
I mean, I think
my
I'm
tongue
saying
does
it right
like
too.
this
I don't want
thing.
somebody to come after me, but it's Gurdwara, I think. Right?
Gurdwara.
I was just gonna say that is horrible.
That's horrible.
Okay, well, I'm not judging.
Couldn't even wait till the fucking party
okay, but you
bus.
have to understand.
No. Sangha don't like this. No,
but not everybody cares about. Not everybody respects. You know what I mean? Like not everybody has that same.
Tell her to get married somewhere else.
It's true. I'm just telling the story. Okay, I'm not judging.
I gotta hear this.
My thing is my makeup chair, my podcast, everything. I just want to feel like a safe space for everybody. I do not judge anybody. I'm like, you know what?
I appreciate you telling us the truth. Who is this girl?
And I also
drop
say,
her name.
And I also say like, I don't know if she has a drinking problem for whatever. I never know what mental health. I never know what's going on. So I'm just whatever. Yeah. So anyways,
so she's drinking.
She's drinking, and it's like it's fine. And then I'm like, okay, now it's time for you to go down and get your photos taken. And she goes, okay, but like I want another drink before I go down. And she was out of drinks, so she's like, can you go get me something else to drink? And I was like, how? Like, I'm just gonna walk downstairs. She goes, well, we have a bar downstairs, so go bring your purse. I had like a Speedy Louis Vuitton like Speedy 30 bag. It's pretty big. She goes, bring your purse and just I want a bottle of wine and 2 nudes.
Make the goatee look bad.
Yes, right?
Fuck.
So I go downstairs with my purse because I'm just team bride, right? I'm like, whatever my client wants, I'm willing to do it, right? So I go down with my purse, like, what am I doing? Wandering around downstairs with my purse. And I can't find the bar. So I go back up to her room. I said, I can't find the bar. She goes, oh, it's in the basement. I'm like, fuck. So now I go down into the basement. I got my purse and I'm filling. I put a bottle of wine. I put 2 nudes in there. I'm like, oh my God. I grab it. I go up the stairs and I look up and there's her mom looking down at me. She goes, what are you doing down here? Like, why do you have your purse in my basement?
She probably thinks you're taxing lick.
And the bride's bedroom is on the 3rd floor. Like, what is going on? And I said, I just, off the top of my head, I said to go to the bathroom. I'm trying to find the bathroom. That's what I said. I'm trying to find the bathroom. And she goes, there's a bathroom in the bride's bedroom.
Oh, fuck.
It's like, fuck. Yeah.
Did she see you putting the bottles in? No.
I don't think so. She was just very confused. And then I was joking with the bride. I was like, if I get a bad review from like your mom saying you know, this white chick's trying to rob me. Like, you have to undo that shit because, like, I'm in here for you.
Yeah.
I hope you got a good.
Was she pretty
commission or
tipsy
tip.
going to the Gurdwara?
I don't know. She was handling it quite well.
Holy shit, that's wild.
There was a couple times girls have been tipsy where, like, I thought they were drinking coffee, but it was wine.
Oh.
But the really cool thing is when somebody's tipsy, when I'm done their makeup, they just love it. It's like, I look great. It's so good.
What was I gonna ask? It was a Tinder thing, man.
Oh, Tinder thing.
I've never been on.
Did you have something to do with Tinder?
Yeah. Oh, I was
think
like dating celebrities on Tinder. I had
Celebrities,
like,
yeah, that's what pro athletes. Who were they?
Who were they?
Like, did you
Nice.
actually have some like NFL or
I
something?
love sports.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'll know him.
Yeah.
you dated an NFL player.
Which one?
Two.
Who?
That's
I wa-
wild.
Two that lots of people know about, but there's been a couple other that you probably
Who were
wouldn't know.
the Who were the two?
I'll know baseball players.
If
too.
one of them I know for you'll for sure know.
Can we?
Have we
I don't
dropped
know.
Do you follow football?
Yeah, yeah.
This guy
everything.
in like
Any sport.
religiously.
I have
Okay.
a sports.
he runs
podcast too.
like a sports
Okay.
like.
I have a show.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I went on a date with Terrell Owens.
No.
Yo, so
we were gonna get him on the podcast.
Terrell Owens asked us for $1,500 to do a
USD.
podcast.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Is he broke?
I don't know. I mean, if you look
How
him
was the
up,
date?
Can he come
Was
on the
it nice?
podcast?
if he declared bankruptcy at least a couple times, and he
Oh,
owes a
he's
lot
broke.
of child support, so he's,
He's
probably
broke,
trying to
man.
get the money
He's
back.
broke. That's what he's
Maybe
asking.
we can get like
$1,500.
$500.
How was the date?
You for $1,500?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
USD.
so I'll tell the backstory. It's when we very first started our podcast, and we were always trying to get guests on. And I was just going like buck shit wild. I was like 19 years old, buck shit wild, sending off emails, right?
I love it.
And I go
That's
on
awesome.
Terrell Owens' Instagram because I'm an Eagles fan.
Right.
I've been an Eagles fan since Donovan McNabb when they lost the Super Bowl
Okay.
the first time
Uh-huh.
when Terrell Owens was on the team too. And so I email some Joe fucking whatever, you know, those type of names that they have, like sports management. And then he emails us back. He's like, it's $1,500 for a Skype interview. And it was like $3,500 or like $5,000 for a in-person interview, include the accommodation. And this is when we were like, didn't even have like no
You're like, yo, I'm
camera.
working at McDonald's.
I was
We
like,
were using an
what?
iPhone to record our podcast, and but for me, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like these guys even replied, but I was like, "Damn, man!" But like that's crazy.
You know what though? As someone who
Yeah.
has my own podcast, I love that because
Yeah.
there are people that I'd love to get on my show that I get it. You're busy. Like I would love just put a price on it. Like what do I have to pay? Because there are people that I would.
But do you
pay.
want someone to come on that like wants money? I don't feel like I'd want, like, it's like at that point they don't even want to be here. Like what if they come on and it's just like a shitty podcast?
Yeah, but sometimes it's not about not wanting to be there. Sometimes it's like you have to do something to get my attention. There's 75,000 people who want me on their show, so I need something to
Yeah.
make it like because you can't
The
be
schedule
on.
is so busy
Yeah, and you
for
can't be
them.
everywhere that everybody wants you, or
Yeah,
and for what reason. So it's like, okay, well, I would do it for 3,500. I'd be like, well, let me think about it. There's a couple of people that I'm reaching out to get on my show that if they told me I'd do it for $2,000, I'd probably be like, well, okay, why not? That's an investment in my show. Like I'm not
Yeah.
against that because you're a busy person and probably
Got
thousands of
shit
people
to
are
do,
asking
yeah.
you. So that's why I
crazy.
see
You
it. And like
dated
everybody's
one-
trying to make it
You
dollar.
dated one of my favorite players. That's
Okay,
crazy.
so
That's
'kay,
wild.
That's
but the
pretty-
story.
Bro, that's a sign, man.
Okay, but the story is
7-0 Eagles Nation, baby.
okay, but like you have to know that the story is like absolutely epic.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
I'm only gonna give you the
Are they-
short version.
Yo, we got what, 20 minutes?
Alright,
Oh,
let's
I'm
go,
only
let's
gonna
go.
tell you. I feel like I should only tell you the short version, so you have to listen to the actual podcast so you can hear the actual story. No,
Alright.
okay, you heard it. You
Yes.
heard it here, folks. Okay, so I matched with him on Tinder.
Nice.
I didn't know who he is. I don't follow football at all. So I saw his blue check mark and I was like, I guess I got to Google him because I have no idea what, the blue check mark's like. It means he is somebody or whatever. So I Google him and it comes up who he is. Well, my girl Ricky's a huge football fan. So I was like, do you know who this guy is? She's like, T.O., are you fucking kidding me? Everybody knows. So I'm like, okay. So I start doing more research. That's when I find out like, oh, he's got like 6 kids with 5 different ladies. He owes everybody. They brought him on Dr. Phil trying to get child support from him, like all this stuff, right? I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to go on a date with him. Like, I'm going to be paying for dinner again. So, but Ricky's like, we have this motto, you have to do it for the story. So it's like, just do it for the story. I was like, oh God, fine. So I said, my rule is, if I get to LA, because I was swiping through people in LA. Yeah. That's how I matched with him. I said, if I get to LA and he remembers me, then I will go on the date. But I'm not going to remind him and chase. Like, I'm not going to be that. So I'm just going to, if he remembers. Sure enough, I go to LA. I had another date with somebody else that I really liked. And then that night, Terrell was like, hey, Blondie, like, I really want to see you tomorrow. And I was like, we'd been talking on the phone a bit and texting or whatever. So there'd been some conversations. And he's like, I'd like you to come watch me play baseball tonight. And I was like, what kind of a date is this? I'm going to watch you play baseball. Anyways, I go out there, take the Uber. I had 3 other dates that day. So I went on a breakfast date, a lunch date, a dinner, a cocktail date, and then I went to go watch his
3 different
You're
guys.
just living
Yeah.
in it.
Yo, that's
yeah, because I
wild.
was going on dates in LA. Like I was literally like,
yeah.
I'm swiping through people in LA. Once I've matched with enough people I want to meet, then I'll fly myself out there and I'll go on a bunch of dates. I want to just meet a bunch of people. So I'm in my Uber on my way to go see him play, and I'm like, you better not embarrass me tonight. You better play good. And he's like, you better not embarrass me. I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. Don't worry. So I get there. He's already out on the field, and he's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. So I sit right behind the dugout. He proceeds to play horribly, right? Like so bad. And he's got such an ego,
He's
right?
an NFL player.
Yeah. So he's playing baseball, right? And it's like a beer league. Like there's girls playing, guys with big beer guts. Like it's just like it's chill co-ed, whatever.
Sucks.
Yeah. And his team loses and he plays horribly. And now he's like all disgruntled. And so now we're walking to his truck and he's like fucking whatever, right? I'm like, oh God, this is going great.
That's wild.
So he tells me to get in his truck. We start driving. I'm like, where are we going? I'm thinking we're going like a bar for a beer or something. He goes, we're going back to my place so I can get changed. So okay. So we go back to his place.
Sick house?
Huh? It was like a town. It was like it's like a town home. You know, it's nice.
Where in LA was it, like a nice
I don't
area?
even remember. It's a nice area for
Okay.
sure.
Not bad.
So anyways, he's got a picture of himself from Dancing with the Stars on the wall. And I'm like, that's
Oh.
hilarious. And his Christmas tree was up. Because anyways, so he tells me to sit down, pours me a glass of water. He says he's going to get changed. I think he's getting changed so we could go out for like dinner. He comes down in sweatpants and I'm like, oh, like what are we, we're just staying here? So he sits down beside me on the couch, turns on the TV, switches it to HGTV House Hunters, and he's like, this is my shit. And now I'm just sitting on the couch watching House Hunters with Terrell Owens like, this is not it. Like, this is not the move. Like, this is... And on the
what
coffee...
a savage.
On the
eh?
coffee table...
House Hunters. What a guy.
On the coffee table, there's my water, his water, and a bottle of lavender-scented, like, massage oil. And I'm like,
Oh
no, this is the wrong... Like, you got the wrong girl. Like, I'm not about this. So I was like, okay, let me message... Cause I'm kind of a savage when I'm in LA. I'm trying to meet all the people. So I messaged one of the guys from the date from the night before. I was like, hey, what's going on? Because I'm sitting on the couch next to Terrell. He's not really... He's on his phone a little bit watching TV.
Massage.
Yeah. So I said, hey, what's going on? To this other guy from the date from the night before. He goes, oh, nothing. I said, I'm almost done dinner with my girlfriends. He goes...
That's hilarious. Tio, man.
So he goes, you want to meet up? And I was like, yeah. He goes, why don't you come over to my place and we'll go from there and then we'll go grab some drinks. I said, okay. So then I tell Tio, I'm like, I think I'm going to get going. And he's like, what? You just got here. I was like, yeah, my dog's back in Venice. He goes, I'll drive you to Venice. I'm like, no. I'm just going to take an Uber. Do you want me to wait outside with you for the Uber? No, I've already called. It's going to be here in a second. So, oh yeah, so that's right. So then I put the other guy's address into my Uber app because I'm like, okay, I got to get going. It says, are you sure you need an Uber? The drive is less than a minute. The other guy lived directly next door to Terrell Owens.
Oh,
He was his actual next door neighbor.
Oh, shit.
So I'm like, no, I'm going to be fine. I'm just going to take an Uber. He's like, I'll wait outside with you. I'm like, no. Because I'm really just literally walking next door.
Yeah.
So I get outside. Terrell had just ordered pizza. So he's like, he's going to order his pizza, whatever. I step outside. I text the other guy, Tony, and I was like, hey, I'm on my way. He goes, let me know when you're 5 minutes away. I'm like, okay. So
Waited around.
I walked across the street to buy some Skittles and walked back.
That's hilarious.
He comes out of his place. He's got his dog, and he's like, I was thinking we could take my dog for a walk around the neighborhood. I'm like, fuck, because Terrell is going to come out to get his pizza, and I'm going to be walking some other guy's dog.
It's a fucking movie. I told you.
Yes.
100%.
And then here's the best part. Tony and I stay friends for years. This is the neighbor, Terrell's neighbor, right? Tony and I stay friends for years.
Is Tony an NFL player too?
Yeah, that's what I found out.
Tony Gonzalez?
Tony Parrish, who played with Terrell Owens on 2 teams. They're very good
Holy
friends.
fuck.
They live next door to each other.
Fuck, I thought it was Tony Gonzalez. That would have been crazy.
So when I finally
not him though. It's not him.
So when I finally told Tony like the actual story, like years later, he's like, if that's not a Canadian hustle, man, like
That's hilarious.
I just walked next door.
Fucking Tio.
Yeah.
What a
Dude,
dog.
that's so weird though that we had that email
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah.
With him and, like,
That's a movie though. How
That
the
was-
fuck
that
you
was
end
a-
up next door, right?
Of all the people in Los Angeles.
And you had no idea.
No idea. And I didn't even know that Tony played football. I had no idea. We'd been talking for I had no idea he played football. He kept it a secret from me for years. I had no idea. And when I found out he played football, I was like,
Do people
wait.
know the story?
he wasn't as good as Terrell.
On my
that's
podcast,
why.
I told the story. It's called Dating Pro Athletes on Tinder, but I've never told
Like
told the
T.O.'s
names.
a fucking big name.
Bro, he's fucking huge. And he just like he's one of the biggest like showmen in the NFL like ever.
Yeah.
Like
That's sad.
That's fucking insane.
That's what it comes down to. Fucking bottle of massage oils.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
what?
All these girls out there trying to date, pro athletes. I'm like, you're not missing out on much, really. Like, this is.
And then would you date some basketball players? Or what other
no,
sport?
I went on a date with one of the coaches from the Lakers.
Which one?
Phil Jackson.
I'm done this conversation. I'm done. I'm done.
Yo, can you run the triangle offense?
Poor guy can barely walk. Needs help.
Okay. Anyways, moving right along.
Coaches. That's the first thought. I watched like Lakers. In
Lakers
2010.
have like that's been our
So when you
so
talk
funny.
coaches,
Dude,
like,
yeah.
fuck, that'd be hilarious.
Well, no.
That's the first coach.
Did you also reach out to the coaches to see if they would come on?
No.
your
Yeah,
show?
no, actually, I'll tell you the story right now.
Oh, fuck.
I emailed. Remember this time? I emailed the Lakers,
Oh.
and then they emailed me back. For some weird reason, I don't know how. It wasn't a professional email or anything like that. They emailed back saying which person of the Lakers team would you like to interview?
Wow.
And for some reason, I was just like, yeah, I would like to interview like Kobe Bryant.
Right?
And then I got no response.
Yeah.
I just
Should have said like fucking Luke Walton.
no. I said, what was his name?
Fucking
I
Robert
said, I would like to interview Kobe Bryant, but he's not available. I would like to interview Brandon Ingram or something. He was when he was a rookie,
Okay.
and he was like, he plays on a different team now.
We
But
might have got Robert Sacre.
You know what though? Like, I gotta tell you, I give you so many props for not playing small. Like, that's so fucking
This guy
cool that
hustled.
you like. That's like
hustled.
you got balls the size of basketballs.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you can like
fucking reached out
write it
to
down. Jayna said it because honestly, like we sit in like our little bubble and like all we know, what's in front of us is what we think is all we have. And for you to like actually be like, no, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna email these guys.
Yeah.
Props to you. Like,
But then
seriously,
it's like
that's so
at
cool.
the same
But you gotta
time,
drop your ego.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
for
gotta
sure,
drop
because you
your
gotta be
ego, yeah.
fine with no. You
But
gotta be
then it's
super fine
like
with no.
it's at the same time. It's like we would not have had this conversation like this in this way if we didn't do that either,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it like even
Yeah, but I'm a
adds,
nobody.
like,
You're not like I'm a nobody. Like I'm
You
talking to you like
dated
you know.
Terrell,
You're
you're
knowing,
somebody,
knowing. That's
yeah.
T.O. That's big. Holy
T.O.
fuck.
buddy.
I mean,
We'll
this
see you
guy's
on the
emailed
podcast.
Bro, you've emailed everyone, man. Like Sunny
Yeah.
Leone,
Yeah, she's a porn star.
Oh, I know exactly who she is.
Priya Ra- like this guy's everywhere, man.
So they're both Priya Rai asked where are you located?
You could start
Thought
a
we were
podcast.
gonna have a
Okay,
scene.
fuck getting these people on your show. Okay,
Yeah.
you could get you could do a podcast
Yeah.
specifically on reading like your nose and your correspondence from all of these fake people. That would be such an epic thing. Like read
Yeah,
the
like,
responses.
It's funny how they reach out back and they're like, where are you guys?
It says where are you located? www.priyarai.sexpanther.com.
You're like, don't worry about me, sis. Don't worry about me.
I was
fucked.
like, we're in Vancouver. Would you like to come?
I'm choking on my wine. The way he said it with a squeak in his voice. We're in Vancouver. The way you said it like you just went through puberty. It was
Holy shit! It's hot in here.
It is so hot in here.
so
It's
hot in
part
here.
wine, part
You
laughter.
gotta open that window
I wore
door.
layers. Oh,
Holy
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, it's hot.
That's hilarious. Fuck.
I got nervous.
What else? What else is new?
So my question is,
Mm-hmm.
this interview,
Yeah.
to summarize, is this what you expected when you thought you were
100%.
going to bring me on the show?
It's hilarious.
Really?
It's best. We got you raw. That's
exactly
it.
what I
It's the
wanted.
only way I know how to be, guys. This is just how I show
You know,
up.
that's what it's about
Yeah.
because your experiences will show someone else. It's not just you.
You're
that's
not
going through
alone.
This. You're
Yeah.
not alone. You know
And
what
the
I mean?
thing is, like, so the tricky thing is, my audience is so predominantly South Asian, and in the South Asian community, it's like, of course, you only introduce one person to your parents, and that's the person you're going to marry, and then there's the illusion that like you only ever dated that one person. But I know all the chicks are out here dating and they're doing whatever the fuck. So I'm going to talk about what I'm doing because I know that regardless of what your family knows, you're living your life too. You're doing the same things that I'm doing. Like, you know what I mean? I have an episode, like, I think that the more real I am, people go like, oh, that's not, okay, I don't have to feel bad about that. Like, you know.
You're just being yourself.
Yeah. And we're all doing the same shit. It's like not, I mean, I do some pretty weird stuff, but it's all for the show. Like you got to do it for the story.
Okay, but like circling back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, I found it weird how you said like no, I don't. Man, every time, man.
I'm just like a sip.
She gets a little nervous. She's like, hey, I got off easy, but fuck.
I got off easy. We'll see. Once this goes live, we'll know if I got off easy. I'll see what I get in trouble for.
Okay, we got your back.
Yeah, we got your back.
The Bains and beers.
We get canceled all the time. But I just found it weird, like how you're ambitious, you're goal driven, etc. But then you said like I date like this type of guy. Like, do you feel like there's a reason for that?
I think that for one, it's like availability. Like I said, I'm really excited about someone
like
who can
they're more
come
emotionally available.
No, just available. Like, you can come with me on a trip because I'm paying, so you don't care about your job. You cannot, and like I say, my priorities are the other things. It's like, you know, the connection, the mental, and so there's those sorts of things. Also, men that are really successful, what I have found, like I can't, you know, it'll be interesting to learn something different, but men that are really successful want you to really just like be really obsessed with how successful they are. Oh my God, I can't believe you drive a Ferrari. I kind of just don't care. Like, it's not because I think I have a, it's not like that. It's just because those aren't my priorities. I don't really like jerk somebody off for it. You know what I mean? Like, wow, you're like, I just don't. And those guys want their egos stroked. They want a girl that's like, you're so amazing. And I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. Like, you're doing what I want to be doing. You know, like I don't
see. I feel like you're like an outlier because not a lot of girls are like that in a sense. Like a lot of girls will be like, they're chasing the guy with the nice car or the guy with the, you know what I mean? Whereas like, you know, every man's told you gotta have money. Then you get to pick, you know, you're gonna get the prettiest girl, whatever it is, right? But whereas like you're not chasing that sort of thing.
No, there's a line in an Erykah Badu song that I love. It says, "If you wanna feel me, baby, better be divine. Bring me water for these flowers growing out my mind." For me, if I have a mental connection with somebody, that's
much more.
Oh my God, I just want like deep conversation. I want somebody who's smart, like know inspire me, like that for me, like good conversation, like someone who's just like hot but not smart, or like rich but like arrogant, or like not polite. Like I just don't like personality just matters so much to me. More, so much more, because at the end of the day, like whatever I gotta do, I can make however much money. I just see like in the universe there's like money that you can get. You just need to put the work in or make the right moves.
100%.
So it's like, but a good connection with somebody is so much more rare than money. Like it is so much more rare. And like an actual spark with someone is even more rare than finding the right personality.
It's like they say you could have like the biggest house, but it's not going to be a home. You can have the biggest bed, but it doesn't mean anything.
And there's a really interesting concept that I heard one time. They were like, your relationship determines your happiness, not the money that you make. Because you could be living under a bridge, obviously that would suck, but with someone who like you can laugh with and you have that love, you could be living in a mansion, but if you're fighting with your personal time, your life is shit. Like you are you're in a state of turmoil. So having that person that's like your partner, to me, is more important than
anything else.
The other things. And that's not me. That sounds so
money
corny.
comes and goes.
But I did a question on my Instagram, and it was like, do you need your man to make more money than you? And only 6% of the women that responded said, yeah, my guy has to make more money than me. It was no, but it would be nice, or no. And I felt like I don't prioritize money, but I should, in that, like, for example, my girlfriend owns a whole bunch of hair salons. She's so successful, and she went through a divorce recently, and she said people were telling her, you need to date a rich guy. And she was like, I don't need to date a rich guy. And I was like, you don't need a rich guy. You don't need it because you can buy your own stuff. But he needs to be rich in order to feel comfortable standing beside you. So it's not a priority for me, but it is a priority for the guy who's going to feel confident enough to stand beside me, right? So I can say, I don't care about that. But if you're going to stand next to me and feel cool, like that we're like on even playing field, and you're not going to feel intimidated or insecure, then you probably should be at this level. That's for you. That's not for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And you're right. Yeah. Like you're saying, like, it's harder for those guys because they're not gonna be content. Like, yeah, at the beginning, it's easy to say, yeah, like, oh yeah, honey, you got more money than me. It's all good and shit like that. But then over time, like, the power dynamics changes. It's like, my girl is making this money. I'm not doing anything. This and that.
Or
and
logistically,
it fucks you over.
Or logistically. So let's say, for example, if there's a small, like a woman's making marginally more than her dude, that's fine. But if it's like a big jump, that's what I'm saying. When it's a big jump, it's hard. It's a hard hurdle to get over because let's just say logistically, let's just put it this way. So let's say I'm making the majority of the money. I'm paying all the bills. I've been in this situation. I'm buying the groceries. I'm paying the bills. Now I'm with a guy who wants to have a baby. So you want me to take 2 years off work?
Yeah.
How are the bills getting paid? Even just logistically, it just doesn't work.
Sense, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like I can, as much as I want, say I don't need it. But I mean, do you want a family? Because like, are you going to be cool with me taking out, or do you want to be like stay-at-home dad? Like, are you cool with that? So there are logistics that like we want to say, because it's a politically correct thing to say, like, I don't need a guy with money, but it does matter at the end of the day.
Can I ask if that in that poll was the highest percentage the one no, but it would be nice?
Yeah. No, but it would be nice. But only 6%
So
of
they
people
really wanted to say
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's trying to be politically correct, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to say it, but like, I was like, okay, cool. 6% of women are honest here.
But nowadays,
or they just don't get it.
I think a lot of like Instagram shows you is like, look, every brown girl getting married. It's like now you see videos of the guy getting like a G-Wagon, or like a guy pulling up on wedding day with like a nice car for her, like, you know, the fucking Birkin bag.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? I heard this thing about when you watch those TV commercials around Christmas, when the guy's like, "Merry Christmas, I got you a car," and then she steps outside and there's a bow on a car, and there was a stand-up comedian who was saying, "Cool, I made a reckless financial decision that we have to keep paying for the rest of our life."
It's facts.
Like, it's both
facts.
of our money now.
Yeah.
Like, we both bought this now.
Yeah, here.
Do we have the funds to, but like, are you going to work extra hours to pitch in for this car?
it's
Unless you
crazy.
bought it cash, obviously.
She'll look good on Instagram. That's all that matters, right?
It's just for that like 10 seconds of that reel, right? That goes
The
viral.
one TikTok.
I'm not hating. If someone wants to buy me a
it's
car,
true.
I'm not stopping anybody who wants to buy me a car. But it has not happened yet.
But I've been seeing that you've been through so much experience. Like, it's like someone could take from that. Like, you know, money isn't everything. You know what I mean? You have to have a connection with your partner. If like fucking every day you're fighting and you have all the money in the world, it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean?
For sure. But I feel like that's basic. I feel like we know that, but we forget when we're in the middle of it, you know?
It's like that rat race we get stuck in.
Yeah, for sure.
We all forget.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I have nothing.
Oh,
man.
yeah, I was going to say. So, okay, so that makes sense then. I get it.
That's what you were gonna
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, so I feel like we didn't answer, though, this question yet.
Uh-oh.
Back to it again.
Oh, shit.
I'm back to afraid
Hit her
again.
with
Another
something,
one.
man.
Uh-huh.
Well, I just wanted to, like, get the direct sense of, like, okay, so if you don't care about the guy's money, but you do care about the guy's money.
I don't care about the guy's money.
No, but I'm just,
But I think he needs to care.
He's
like,
gonna
he
care.
needs to care about it. I would pick someone who's broke, but he's not going to be comfortable standing beside me. So that's the problem.
What do you? Oh, actually, that wasn't my question. I got it now. So, what is your like dream life for this? Is it to get, because you've been tried to marry twice now? So it's like, do you want that family life? You want that husband? You want that person that's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna put my 100% in. You want kids? Want this, etc. Or have things changed now because now you're in like a different zone? You're doing your podcast now. Your business is booming,
Right.
etc.
That's a really good question.
So that was my question. Yeah.
Right. So that's a really good question.
Yeah.
We didn't touch on this because obviously I've had a really big life, but I've had a few miscarriages with an ex and that sort of thing it happened when I was like 30, and when because I'm almost 40, I'm like 4 months away from turning 40. So I kind of just told myself, because I actually had the person, the day I lost our baby, he broke up with me. So I lost like the love of my life and the baby on the same day. And when that happened, it wasn't like I just lost a child and they're like, we can try again. Like, I also lost my person. So I had to, in that moment, decide, okay, I guess I'm not going to be a mom. And people were like, yes, you still can. You can meet someone. I was like, no, I have to be okay with this, because this could be, I'm not going to just jump into a relationship to get pregnant with somebody. So I had to just tell myself, like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm that might not be the case. I've already played house a few times, and I finally have like peace in my life where I'm like healed, and I love where I live. And so I'm not trying to fuck with that because like I have peace for like the first time in my life in a very long time. So for me to just like have somebody move into my home or something, it would have to be like absolute magic, because I'm not gonna put my peace on the line unless I know it's like epic, because I'm good right now. I've always, my whole life since I was like 17, you know, because I got married at 19, my life was, I am relevant because I am so-and-so's wife, or I'm so-and-so's girlfriend. But I finally made an identity with myself that's like, I am Jayna fucking Marie, and I don't need like, so now because I have this like, who I am is fine without being attached to somebody else, you'd have to be pretty bomb for me to be like, all right, I'll attach you to what I'm doing, and I will like let you claim on what I'm working on, because I've been doing a lot on my own now, and I finally have peace. And so I think that I've really let go of like, I tried playing house. I tried the kid thing that kind of like didn't go great for me. I might one day in the future be a foster parent, or I might adopt. I'm actually working on potentially with like somebody who's in my life right now, but I could imagine kids being in my life, but like it won't be because like I gave birth to them. I've always wanted to like adopt or be a foster parent, or meet a guy who already has kids. I used to have, my Tinder profile used to say bonus points if you're a single dad with kids. And there was always these men who'd message me and be like, you're joking, right? I'm like, no, I actually mean it. I'd love to have kids in my life that I didn't have to tear my vagina open. So I'm
Do you
totally
feel like
down.
you'd be able to treat them like your own though?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. There's kids in my neighborhood I treat like they're my own kids. Like I have the heart for it. So I think that like it's something that I should do. And you know, say I'm 50 and I adopt a 10-year-old, it's like I had a kid, you know, it's like I catch up. If I'm 40 and I adopt a 10-year-old, I caught up.
So at this point, what would you say is like next for your, like, you know, in your life, the next chapter? What are you looking forward to?
Next is for sure like building this empire with my podcast. It is just, it's just my passion. It's doing so much better than I ever thought that it would. I thought that where I'm at right now would take at least 2 years. So I'm just like really, I'm just really on fire for that. Like there's this really cool concept that my sister works with me on the podcast full time. Nice. And there's this really interesting concept she just sent me that she found on Instagram the other day that was like the rule of thirds. It was this Olympian talking about what her coach had told her. And he said, when you're chasing a dream, there's a rule of thirds. You should 1/3 of the time be really excited about what you're doing. 1/3 of the time you're neutral about what you're doing. And 1/3 of the time you're pissed off, upset, frustrated, struggling. And he said, because if you're experiencing all those feelings, it means you still care enough. It means you're struggling, you're pushing towards a new goal, and it means that you're experiencing some sort of success. And I can say that without a doubt, I for sure have that about my podcast. My poor sister's totally subjected to me and my changing emotions each day. One day I'm like, burn this whole place down. The numbers aren't going up. Fuck this. The next day it's like, manifest success, Carly. I can see it. And she's like, oh my God, Jayna. But it's because I'm on one hand really happy with the success we've had, and on the other hand, I know where we're trying to go, and we're so far from that. Like I'm like dreaming big, 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 right? So there's like this like hole between being happy with where we're at and then being not anywhere close to happy with where we're at.
What's one advice you'd give us for as a fellow podcaster?
As a fellow podcaster, don't be afraid of promoting the fuck out of yourselves, because with my makeup business, I was very apologetic about promoting myself because I'm like, I'm trying to get you to pay me money to do something. But a podcast is free entertainment for people. So you have no reason to be shy about posting the shit out of yourself, because it's like people will go, oh, right, I forgot. I do want to listen to that. Or, oh, I was about to get in the car. I may as well play that right now. So you may as well post, tell people. Because if you don't tell people, they won't know or they won't remember. So that's like a big thing. And the other thing is like, just be fucking real, you know?
That's it.
Yeah. And that's, I'm like where we're at right now. I'm just so happy, and I just can't wait to see where it goes from here. So
I'm excited.
Thank
excited
you.
for all of us to see.
Yeah, that's why I was like, you know what? Like when you guys reached out, I was like, okay, we have to do this because we're all just like, you know, you have a dream and you're chasing it, and I'm all about people chasing dreams. I have a cousin of mine. He wanted to be a WWE wrestler, and my whole family was like, dude, what? I was like, why the fuck not?
Did he become one?
Yeah, he's been like a semi-professional wrestler for like 5 years.
Yeah.
He saved up, he worked all summer right out of high school and saved up to go to the Bret Hart, like the school of wrestling. Yeah, in Calgary. Like this guy, I'm like, why the fuck not? I'm just 100% all about people chasing their dreams.
Good buddies, his name is The Wrestling Classic. He has like an Instagram page.
Oh, really?
And he's like followed by like all these wrestlers and
Oh
shit
my
like
gosh.
that. Yeah.
He calls himself Cougar Meat. And then I was like, could we make like a tag team and I could be Cougar Chic and like we could be like
I've been to a couple of those independent shows and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
I've
they're
gone to
pretty
support him
fun.
too.
Yeah,
It's
That's
fun.
sick. Yeah,
Because they put so much heart into it, right? And they do all the showmanship and yeah. I'm like, why? I'm always like, why not? Because if you have something that you're chasing after, if you have like a heart for making a podcast, or you have a heart for starting a new business, or you have a heart for whatever the fuck it is, why would you want to end this life having not tried it?
Yeah.
Like, at least give it a shot. And if you're going to try it, be all in. Like, for me, for my podcast, I did Lady Gaga's hair and makeup one time.
That's it.
Yeah. And and so she was telling me this story about when she used to live in New York. She was going to performing arts school and she was broke. Like, she had no money because she's a student. But when her and her friends would go out to party, they would get dressed up so outlandish. I mean, you know what Lady Gaga's like, obviously. Like, you know, they would dress up so crazy.
I went to her concert.
Oh, really?
When I was with my cousin, remember? Fucking 2012.
It might have been the concert that I did her makeup for, because that's what I did for. So, anyways, she would go out dressed in these outlandish costumes with her friends, and the paparazzi would follow them around thinking they were celebrities because they looked like they were somebody.
You know, we got good advice. Harp Soho said this to us when we first started. She said, you got to fake it till you make it.
Yeah, and that's what this is, where it was like, she wrote a song called Beautiful Dirty Rich, which is like, I'm beautiful, dirty, rich, but like it was basically like literally fake it till you make it. Just dress like you're already it. Yeah. And so when I released my podcast, I was like, okay, this is like literally episode 1, but I'm going to release it like I'm experiencing like my 1 millionth download. So I went like all out. I hired like a boat, smoke bombs, tequila, like the whole thing, penthouse party, all my friends. Like I was like, we're going big because like, why? Like I wanted when people, I did all the big photo shoots in LA to do the promo shots, like all these things I've done. I'm like, let me go all out, because what I wanted is when somebody sees my marketing, I want you to see it and be like, how do I not already know about this chick? It looks like this person's famous. So at least if it looks like you already are that, they're like, I got to catch up. So that's kind of the way I came out the gates. Like, you know, Kanye West said, nobody wants to quote Kanye West right now, but he did say, fuck being humble. And that can bite you in the ass, Kanye. But
are you pro Kanye right now or anti Kanye? Be honest. My
deal with Kanye West is I hate the things he said, but I also hate that people are being so judgmental of somebody with mental health problems.
Exactly.
And I feel like there was a quote he said in an interview that he did where he said, people love wild and crazy pyrotechnics. Like they love the crazy shows. They love the crazy lyrics and the crazy beats. And they're upset when it comes from a crazy mind.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, I get goosebumps every time I say that, because it's like, it's so true. Like you can't love his art and hate the brain that it came from. Like he's going through some shit, and I'm not okay with the anti-Semitic and all the things he said. However, he's getting a harder run right now than like Epstein got. Like R. Kelly didn't even get this much shit. You know what I mean? Like R. Kelly didn't get this much shit. Epstein didn't get this much shit. They were selling fucking humans and breaking women down. And like Kanye West said some shit that was fucked up. But I'm saying, if it was like your crazy uncle who was talking shit,
that's what it was.
What do you do? You just let it be.
We all have like that. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying there's a reason for everything, and you don't want to like. He is a creative genius in what he's done. His music is insane. His I've always been so inspired by his work ethic. His belief in himself is next level. So I'm like, there are things that, like, I want to respect. And I don't want to throw the whole person out. It's not fair to throw the whole person out. You know, like I was raised Christian, and there was always like a saying like, hate the sin, don't hate the sinner. You know what I mean? Like, it's like what he's done is not right, but like you can't throw the whole person out, you know?
Do you continue to practice Christianity, or what are your thoughts on religion?
He's just going like, whoa, right into
religion. That's a touchy one. They're drinking before the Gurdwara. What do you think, bro?
No.
Dude, bro, we're in the dark times. I'll tell you that much.
I have very interesting, I was raised in the church, but I have very interesting concepts about religion where I just feel like we actually all believe the same thing and we don't even know it. So that's kind of like, there's a really interesting concept about God that I was told one time that, this is getting deep, but basically everyone who meets you knows a different version of you, right? So somebody thinks you're an asshole. Somebody thinks you're really fun. Somebody thinks you're boring. Everybody thinks something different of you. Somebody calls you by your first name. Somebody calls you a nickname. Somebody calls you, right? There's like all different, right? Your mom calls you something. And somebody said, imagine that's all of us with God. We all have our own experience with God, and maybe we call him something different. Maybe our experience with him is different, but we're all actually referring to the same thing. And sometimes I think, what if that's the case, that no matter what religion you are, you're actually referring to the same being or the same entity or your own version of God.
We're all referring to the one.
Yeah, like or people now we've like generalized it by saying the universe.
Yeah.
That's like the cozy way of people who don't want to say God, right? But so sometimes I'm like, if we all knew that like for example, when some of my clients talk about going to the temple on the weekends, I'm like, that sounds exactly like when I used to go to Sunday school on the weekends. Like our experiences aren't that different, but it was just a different place. And I had a client one time, she said, my mom is Hindu and my dad is Punjabi, or sorry, no. The words are like, I've had too much wine.
Hindu, Muslim?
Hindu, Muslim, yeah. And she was like, I don't know. She's like, I can't decide which one I believe, because she goes, when I went to the Hindu church, I felt like God.
Yeah.
And she's like, and when I went to like a Muslim church, like I felt God. So I don't know which one I should believe. And I was like, yeah, but if you went to a Catholic church, you'd probably feel God there too.
Yeah.
And if you went to a
like
Christian church, you'd feel God because God is
everywhere.
in all those places. You don't have to pick one, because like it's just a different approach, like a different path. That's kind of the way
I think
see
end
it
of the
today.
day, what it comes down to is like the basis of I feel like every religion is to find peace within yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's what it should be at the end of the day.
And understanding that there's like a plan outside of you, like that there's something else. Like people who don't believe in God don't usually believe that there's something else happening outside of this physical world.
Realm,
So I think sometimes it's just, but anyways, I was always told not to talk about, was it religion and politics? And now I feel like you've given me 3/4 of a glass of wine.
She hasn't even finished it, man.
Really
She has a bio.
one.
What else can we cover?
Why are you telling me?
You're like, how else can we get her in
what
trouble?
else
I
can we
know you want to go low-key controversial so that you guys go
We
like...
gotta say something controversial. We got what, 15 minutes? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? 10
5
minutes?
Should
We got
wrap
10
up?
minutes.
Ooh, he's like, how can we
Anything
fuck her up?
controversial?
Should we
Okay,
take
let's say it. Let's go the political way.
No, why?
No.
Okay.
Fuck that.
I honestly don't know.
But
I
what were
am
you gonna
so
say?
unaware of
I
politics.
don't know. I was just gonna say the political. Like,
Let's
you know,
talk about you
10
know who
minutes.
Andrew Tate is?
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
he
do.
does. Yeah, he
you
does.
do. Top G.
Top G. What's your take on Top G?
I know nothing about this.
No.
I'm so in my own world, you
No,
guys.
she
you don't
knows. She
even
laughed. She
understand.
gave you the eye.
I am so in my own world. You don't even get it.
The
I'm literally.
bald-headed
Okay,
guy.
Who's
be honest.
that?
When you first saw us, like, what was your feeling about coming on this podcast?
I was like,
Fucking
babe,
Hindus.
no. You don't understand. I am like. Because of the stuff that I've been through in the South Asian community, I always have anxiety around, and that's just me being totally honest.
Fair.
Where when you first reach out, I'm like, fuck, like someone's gonna try and corner me or make me say something stupid or make me look like a slut or like that. That's just me being totally real because
Like a
I've
setup.
like a setup,
Yeah.
like maybe, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have an open heart. I'm just gonna trust that not everybody's bad and not everybody's evil, not everybody's out to get me. I'm just gonna be open to this experience and I'm just gonna have my wits about me and just be careful, like not to say any sort of thing that I don't know what, but like I'm pretty open anyways. But I can't help it. I've been through some shit that like for a minute, like large groups of South Asian people made me really feel afraid because I thought I never know when I'm going to be judged. I never know when I'm going to get, like when the next video is going to go viral when I'm sitting. I have no idea, you know?
How did that experience change you? And then you can continue whatever you were saying. Like, it's like, how did that South Asian, like that whole thing that happened, how did after all the hate, how did it change you as like a person and how you viewed our community?
The real truth is, if that's how I felt, I had a business outside of the South Asian community long before this happened.
100%.
I could have very easily said no more South Asian weddings. If this but I just had so much belief that like people just didn't know the real story. And if they knew the real story, then they wouldn't, or if they actually knew me, they wouldn't feel that way. Cause I did have a tribe of a whole bunch of people who I'd worked with who were like, that's not Jayna. Like Jayna's fucking amazing. And Jayna's got the biggest heart ever. So I knew that I had enough people, kind of warriors out on the street that would hopefully defend me.
Yeah.
And I knew who I was. So I was like, if I know who I am, I'm just going to keep showing up and do the best job I can. When that whole thing happened, it was one of the busiest weeks in the summer. It was in August. I had 11 weddings to do, and I didn't miss a single booking. I showed up every single day. My phone was ringing off the hook with harassments, people calling me names, telling me they wanted me to die, telling me they hoped I die of AIDS, all this kind of shit. I showed up for work every single day, wasn't late, and all I said was, because my Snapchat was full of new followers. I think I had like 3,000 new followers in 24 hours because people were like, who's this hoe? Like, who's this home-wrecking hoe? And I was like, okay, if all these people are watching, I'm just going to do the best job of my life. I'm going to do the best makeup that I can do. And because now I've got people watching and they're just going to see me. Hopefully they just see who I am, because I know who I am and I know I'm not the person that they've been told that I am. So if I really genuinely thought that people were bad or that South Asian people were bad, I would have pieced out. I already had another business. I have another business option. I could just say no to those bookings, but I'm still here. I'm still standing. You know what I mean? and that's the main thing that I learned was, like I told you, like, don't explain yourself to anybody because the people who love you, like, don't need it. Yeah. And the people who don't won't believe you anyways. Like, if someone wants to believe I'm a slut, you know, now my whole approach is, whatever you want to believe about me, yeah, that's true. Like, I don't care. Like, you can really believe whatever you want about me because, like, I know who I am. Like, I am almost 40 years old. I am too old. If I was 16, if I was 19, if I was 22, maybe I would care. But I am too old to be out here worried about what everybody thinks.
What they think.
Yeah.
Honestly, people are always going to have an opinion.
And if I was worried about people's opinions, I most definitely wouldn't have come up with a podcast saying all the shit that I'm saying. I've literally talked about hiring an escort for my boyfriend. Like, I've talked about literally some of the nastiest, craziest shit.
I'm like, last 5-minute drill right here.
Brown boys don't indulge in eskies.
So I think my new thing is
number one customers.
My new thing is, to be real with you, my new thing is I'm just gonna beat you to saying it. So if someone thinks if they want to talk shit about me, someone will be like, I already heard that story on our podcast. That's not how that went. Like, I'm already saying it all. So you can say whatever you want, but like I'm telling the stories myself, so you don't even need to gossip about me. I'll tell the stories.
So it kind of frees you up in a way that you're being so open.
I have no secrets. Like,
I
have
mean,
no
whatever.
secrets.
If they hate, let them hate. Watch the money pile up. You know what I mean? And what are we at? We're done. 5 minutes.
Well,
right.
Okay, can we tell that story about you got your boyfriend asked?
You're gonna have to listen to my podcast for that. It's called.
Okay, everybody,
That
tune
time I
in.
hired an
Wait,
escort.
watch this. Everybody, tune in. The Big Lash Energy, right there by the
shit.
merch. Now can we know the story?
Anyways, that's.
Wait, let him.
Yeah.
I'm not.
She's not good at
We're
that, bro.
out of
She wants you to
time.
tune in.
5 minutes.
Tune in. It's
You
not
know
a
what?
5 minute
I was
story.
taught to always leave them wanting more. So
Okay.
Big Lash
Go
Energy.
listen to Big
Tune
Lash
in.
Energy.
And that's it. That's Jayna Marie.
Yeah, that's
you
Jayna
know,
fucking Marie. That's it.
kind-hearted,
Thank you for
amazing.
coming on.
We want to thank
Thank
her.
you.
You know what I mean? Kind-hearted,
you.
amazing, successful entrepreneur.
thank you.
Everything that you can say in the book. We appreciate you coming on, giving
Thank
us a
you.
chance. You know,
Mhm,
and anything you want to say?
It
last
wasn't
minute?
as scary as I thought it was gonna be.
Did you have fun?
Yes, of course I had fun.
Did you enjoy it?
I had fun. Yes, I did.
Still a little scary.
No, I'm not scared anymore. Well, we'll see when it goes live. Like I said,
mean,
you never
we'll
know.
see,
I'm always, you know what that thing is I'm so casual and comfortable with people. And then like later I might regret it. Where you're like, oh, maybe I should have. I'm like, oh, this is why people say I won't talk about this.
Yeah.
This.
Oh,
But it's
yeah.
fine. It's cool. I'm fine with
Like
it.
I said, if they hate, let them hate. Watch the money pile up. We're the Bains of beers, and we're out.
I can't take no loss.